Hey guys, it's your girl, the Dopest Nerd, and I am here at home chilling with my family, hair up, nothing in particular fancy. Let me pull my hair down while I'm on camera. But I do have a video to post. I inadvertently expected and thought that I had posted this video on the page, on the channel. However, I posted it in the community post. I'm trying to add the video, and having to do everything on my phone is posing a bit of a nuisance for me because I'm not able to, for some reason, see how to add it. But I'm going to figure it out. So y'all chill here with your girl. This is annoying. Somebody's watching. Hey, guys, how you doing? Yeah, I'm sitting on my couch. Um, I was trying to make a recording. I wanted to add the video. Having to do everything on my phone because the hackers have locked me out of my computer is annoying. But I thank you guys all for showing up on the live earlier today. I'm attempting to get this video up here. It is, let's see. This is a bit of a tizzy. It doesn't show me the entire full screen like I would see it on. Hi everybody, how you doing? How's everybody doing? Hey, what up, Odell? This is cumbersome trying to navigate. Oh, thank you, Roberta Lane. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's put that on the screen. She said, I watched a replay of your last live stream. Wow is all I can say. When you read on YouTube, nobody that part read that part of Kim's book. Listen, they read the book. They read that part of the book. They just chose not to acknowledge it because there's this whole notion that if they acknowledge it, they will then be acknowledging me and causing more people to follow me. And their intention is to not give me not one single follower that would benefit and grow my channel. They think this is a race. They think this is a competition. But this is really being fair in news reporting. This is just a masterclass in journalistic integrity, and they are all failing. They're right now in remedial classes. As a matter of fact, no disrespect to anybody in special ed, but they're in special ed. They are not playing fair or playing decent. So right now, we're going to call that Diddy's defense team. All these content creators, they're on Diddy's defense team. Because why would you be violating the first woman to survive his reign of terror starting 25 years ago? And listen, his reign of terror started way before then. But all of those other people have been annihilated. They are unalived. Hey, Just Black. Let me shout out everybody. Hey, Margie. Hey, Roberta. Hey, K-Leg. Hey, Nikki. Hey, Mocha. Hey, Foxy. Hey, Beverly. Hey, Set in the West. Hey, Dana. And shout out to all the members of the Nerd Herd that are luxuriating on their couches, that on the from the comfort of their beds, wherever you are, in the car, chilling at your desk at work, in the nosebleed seats, in the bushes, everybody, by all means. And shout out to my neurodivergents who are here, but remain silent and have that telepathic communication with me. Thank you. She said, you're skillfully witty. You know, I've been told that a time or two or 10, and I thank you for recognizing that. It's my superpower. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I feel seen and valued. Thank you. It's unfortunate that they have resorted to, and like I said, I've been telling people since 2015 that I was being hacked. You see proof of it. Why would they disrupt my ability to go on my computer and go live with you guys? I go on StreamYard from my computer. It says I was on the night before. I get up and come back on today, this morning, and it says you have no access to your camera or your mics. We did everything to try to find it. I even dug out, when you saw me on screen visually, Hey, Fashawn, how are you? Greetings, King. Thank you. And here's the thing, when you saw me visually earlier today, but it was echoing, I had to dig out an old computer I had in here. I haven't used that laptop in ages. I almost didn't remember the sign on for that laptop. And guess what? It allowed me to get on, but once they were in, whoever hacked my system still had access to it. And so when they saw me on, they started messing with the mic. First, you guys said it was echoey, then you couldn't hear me. It was a shit show. Roberta said, Natanya, I chatted with you when you first started that God left you alive to be a witness in the earth to see Diddy's demise and God's vengeance. Praise him. Oh, praise his name. I got to put that on the screen. Praise his almighty name. I am so, to God be the glory. To God be the glory for thinking it not robbery. To let me live to see this monumentous occasion. Oh, yeah, old computers still working. And sometimes they're better backups. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate you guys for having my best interest at heart. Thank you so much. To God be the glory for it all. Because here's the thing. There is I can understand competition within the realm of any industry. You know, healthy competition is fine. In fact, on an average day, I have no problem with people competing with against me because I'm a worthy opponent. Your girl is nice with hers. Listen, if YouTube was a game of Jeopardy, baby, I'll finish everybody because I'm a thinker and I am a Jeopardy buff. I'd finish everybody. But if it's a battle of wits and intelligence and adhering to policy and standards of journalistic integrity, they won't fight that fight with me fair. They don't want to have that battle with me fairly. What they'll say is, "Oh, she's up here calling people out and Thank you, Beverly George. Who said that? Oh, K-Leg. Baby, let me put that on the screen. Listen here, K-Leg. I see some big things in your future, girl. She said, welcome back, Nerd Herd. You know the routine. Leave your shoes at the door, put on your fluffy socks, and let's talk about it. Leave a comment, like the video on your way in. Eh, my girl. See, you see the love I'm talking about? This is the love I'm talking about. Be sure to throw the likes up, guys. Be sure to throw the likes up. I'll tell you, it is um on an average person, it would be extremely disheartening to have a whole group of people encamping against you. But because I'm far from average, y'all ain't doing nothing but sharpening my skills and my strength. And like I always say, no one robs an empty store. Y'all see this necklace on? This is one of my grandmother's necklaces. God rest your soul, the incomparable Vivian Amelia Mead, my grandmother. This is one of her necklaces, and I wear it with pride. And this is her ring. You guys hear me talk about it all the time. This is her ring. It fits my pinky because you know your girl put on a few pounds, but don't worry. I'm almost being an empty nester, and I am about to be in the gym getting slim and cute. I mean, I'm cute already, but this, I don't want to be slim, but slimmed down. That's a better thing. Because at this age, I don't want to be nobody skinny. I like my woman fluff. I like my woman curves and fluff. You know, there's something to be said for that. There's nothing more beautiful than seeing a woman walk in her femininity. But I certainly don't want to be skinny or nothing. But you know, a little slim down is nice. Let the clothes hang on you nice and thin, you know? You don't want to be looking like a pack of biscuits busting out the pack. No, that's not for me. Although nobody shaming here. I'm just saying for myself, that does not work for me. Thank you, my love. Fashawn said, you are always kind and empower and encourage with your videos. Thank you so much, my love. I appreciate it because here's the deal. Nobody's I'm not anyone's enemy. Hey, Roberta, say it again for the people in the back. Hey, K-Lig sounds like a potential moderator, right? Wink, wink. Hey, K-Lig, today's your lucky day. Yes, she absolutely unequivocally does. And I would be honored if she would have me. Why, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Beverly said, "You look absolutely beautiful because you're a natural." Thank you. Thank you so much. There's so much to be said from, listen here, listen here. There is so much to be said from, I think a lot of it, so a lot of it has to do with who I am. Although I was in the beauty industry for many years, I owned a lot of beauty salons, spa, barbershops, the whole kit and caboodle. However, and so I was very, glammed up, hair coiffed, always, and then that gets tiring. It gets tiring. And here's the deal. She said a little 1 or 2 pack, no need for the 6 pack. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. A 1 or 2 pack make the job get done too. What's up, Toynette? What's up, my love? And here's the deal. There's something to be said for aging gracefully. I don't have the society will push the narrative that you should be discomforted in your aging because you're old, you're a has-been, you're washed up. Listen here. You know what wrinkles and stretch marks and all that mean? It means you made it through. It means you conquered, you came, you saw, you conquered. It means you still here. It means I went to my granddaughter's recital. She was fantastic as always. I was filled with pride as a grandma because that is a skill. Nobody could come between me and grandma, baby. She got that directly from me. She got that from me. And she's a vocalist just like me. Nirvana got it. My sons can sing. One sings more outward, the other one is more musical, production and stuff like that. He can sing. He's a singer. He won't sing publicly, but he's a singer. But he is production, nice with it. She definitely went up there and did her thing. Magnificent. There was a child who sang. I'm from New York. Billie Holiday. Excuse me. Billy Joel is my joint. Billie Holiday is my joint too. But Billy Joel, baby, that was some good music in the 70s and the 80s. You hear me? And this kid still, and I know God sent me that as a gift because I love Billy Joel. And one of the kids sang, "I'm still standing better than I ever been. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing." Baby, that was directly for me. Hey. The lady sitting next to me was like, "Okay." I said, "Billie Holiday's my joint." Excuse me, Billy Joel is my joint. I'm a super proud grandma. But even that, calling myself grandma instead of Mimi, Nunu, Glamour, I am Granny. Granny, because it means I'm here. See, anything that recognizes the length of time that I've existed, I don't run from it. It is a badge of honor for me to age gracefully. And so when you hit the 50 mark, it's not that you're giving up and you don't care about your aesthetics, but we joined the I don't care club because you get to 50, half of a century, and you realize all that crap that the world put on you and told you you needed to be accepted was nothing but the bamboozle. Okay, like our great brother El Haj Malik El Shabazz said, "You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok, led astray." Mm-mm, no more. Listen, I keep saying Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday is my girl. I cut my teeth on Billie Holiday. My dad was a jazz musician. But Billy Joel is my boy. I love Billy Joel. I love um what's my boy? I could see him in my mind's eye, but he's slipping my mind. Um, I go tell all it just now, but I love him. He is baby. Don't nobody make music like that, honey. Yeah, there's nothing so great about being skinny, especially not in this day and age, child. Honey, that meat means something. Listen, I'm telling you. I love aging gracefully. I'm comfortable being natural. I'm aging gracefully. I'm still here. You know how remarkable it is to have raised my children? I'm a grandmother and I got a range, baby. My oldest 36, my youngest 17. Okay? I got a range. I've been mothering for a long time. So I am quite comfortable. And then yet, and still, in spite of everything, I always say Thank God we don't look like what we've been through. Could you imagine if I sat here looking like what I've been through? But no, God is so merciful. That's why I told people, why would you mess with that woman? God allowed that woman to get shot in the face, survive, go through all type of medical problems, heal, force herself through by weaning herself off of all that medication, pushing through against all odds, against the pain, left me whole, aesthetically, visually, and of sound mind and body, even with a traumatic brain injury. I have a traumatic brain injury and a seizure disorder, among other things. This is not something I'm holding and owning. This is something I was literally diagnosed with from getting shot. The bullet scarred my brain, causing me a seizure disorder and a traumatic brain injury. And yet here I am. Here I stand as lucid and clear-minded, as of sound mind and body, well-spoken, and all of that. You understand? There are people who have endured far less than me, and they have a or nothing at all physically, no trauma in their life. And no disrespect, everybody's walk is different, but my thing is, you have to learn every day. You should be a student of life. You should be looking to learn something new every day. There is absolutely nothing bad about being a student of life and adding new skills to your mental warehouse. Your wheelhouse, your storehouse you should be packing the information in. And guess what? You got people out here ain't never been through nothing and they can't even master verb subject agreement. They're whole grown adults. It's one thing when people have been deprived of access to education. I understand what that is. That is a systemic oppression of undereducating and uneducating a segment of society to keep them socioeconomically disparaged and thus subdued under the oppression, under the weight of oppression to be the working class. Like your boy Rockefeller said, who incidentally somebody named themselves after, clock that T, but I digress. I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers. Why would someone say that? Because he sees somebody as a permanent underclass of society. Listen, and people have the nerve to question, attack. Let me put that on the screen. And people have the nerve to question, attack, and malign me. Baboons, I tell you. Yes, my girl, K-Lig, they're my baboon. But, you know, even we kind to those in the jungle, our brethren, them in the jungle. In the life of progression of, they didn't continue to walk the line. We did. So I yes, for Sean, thank you so much. I'm a walking miracle indeed. And I tell you, I remember the day that all the while I was living, I was so busy trying to survive. Shout out to Beverly George. She said, Amen. I thank God I don't look like what I've been through. And I want to thank you all again for praying for me on last night. I'm going through, but I will get through in Jesus' name. Asheo, to God be the glory, my love. You are absolutely welcome. That's what we do here. We are family. We sink or swim together. We sink or swim together. And here's the beauty of it all. The beauty of it all is that you have a family to fellowship with. Imagine if I heard a pastor say, when God has anointed you with a purpose and a gift, just always discover your purpose. Because when God has anointed you with a purpose, it is not merely for you. It is because God has anointed you with something special that will be a blessing to not only you, yourself, your family, your children, your loved ones, your tribe, your village, your community, but your global community. What God has instilled in you, there's people out there who need it. And so if you fail to pick up your purpose in life and walk with it and stand in your anointing, there are people who are going to suffer because you won't be there to alleviate what ails them. You won't be there to speak life into their pain points. And with the absence of that, those people then will fail in their journey. This ain't about a singular thing. This is a collective thing. We all work together. We sink or swim together. And I'm fully abreast and aware of that. I'm fully abreast and aware of that. And when I tell you, I'm all the way, Look, buffoon, baboon is all the same. All the same, girl. Is all right. Yeah, traumatic brain injuries do suck. She said, Swisky60 said, TBI sucks. I hate loud noises and vibrations. Hi, Natanya. Hope all is well. Carrots. Hey, thank you, my love. They do. They do. And I'm going to tell you something. Things that make other people like things that disturb everybody, all the big things that disturb everybody, don't affect me. I can shut it out. But baby, you see them little things? I remember I was taking, they have those Asian buses, and a few years ago, pre-pandemic, they were um taking you up and down like the Eastern Seaboard or wherever across different states. They were just traveling, taking almost like a Greyhound, but like the Timu Greyhound. Okay, let's keep it 100. The Timu version of Greyhound. And so my son, I was taking one of them because I had a real quick trip to go on, and I was like, oh, I could sit back and relax and do this. And my son was like, Ma, please don't do it. I know you. Little things get on your nerve. Don't do it, mommy. They're going to work your nerve on that bus. I was like, child, I got my book. I got my music. I could just sit back and relax. No sooner than I got on the bus. Now, I have a thing. I don't like lip smacking. I told you, a bomb can go off and everybody else can shriek and scream. Somebody could get hit by a car and their leg could be detached. While everybody's running around headless horsemen, I will be calm, subdued. I'm like, okay, I'm going to help you. Be calm. Things are going on right now, but I got you. We won't leave you. I am super cool under fire. But you see somebody smacking their lips, child, you might as well drag your fingernails across a board because, honey, this Asian man, I see him going in his bag. He's rustling in his bag. So the rustling sound is already heightening that the sensitivities on my nerve endings. And I'm like, what is he looking for? Now I'm a bag rustler. I look in my bag. But something about his rustling was infinite. It never ended. And then he emerges from the bottom of his bag with an 8-pack of hot dog buns. Now, don't laugh at your girl, y'all. 8-pack of hot dog buns. So I'm looking for him. I did see some tinfoil inside the bag. So I'm thinking he's going to take out the tinfoil. So he's taking off the little, the twist tie and opening the buns. And I'm like, I start turning my head like, no, no. That man reaches in the bag, pulls out a hot dog bread, and starts eating them. Eating the buns, no meat, no liquid. So that was a Velcro fest. He was, I could feel my nerves in sensory overload. I was like, huh. I called my son. I said, oh no. He was like, Mommy, what happened already? I was like, this man, he got a pack of hot dog buns. He's on the third bun. He don't got no hot dogs and no water. He just eating buns. He was like, oh, Mommy, I told you don't do it. Because he knows I am stressed. I'm like, this can't be real. Please help me, God. Please help me. This man is going to town on them hot dog buns. No water and no hot dog to moisten them. So he like forcing himself to swallow. So help me, God. He was reaching in for that next one. I said, you better not touch another one. You better not touch another. He looked back at me. Everybody on the bus kind of turned. I said, you ain't got no damn water. Don't you put that shit away. Don't you eat another one. It was making me crazy. And he kind of looked at me like, sheesh. And he closed the bag back and put the buns back in his bag. But I was just like, what kind of torture technique is this? Listen, we all know our pain points. We all know the things that work our nerves. So what I have mastered the art of doing is overcoming everything. I'm not going to let anything bother you because he who angers you controls you. And I don't relinquish control of myself to anyone or any situation. Now, am I perfect? No, God's still working on me. That's why I can say, praise the Lord, to God be the glory, shut the F up. All in one breath because God's still working on me. And guess what? You ain't got to be perfect. You just got to be perfect for yourself. You don't even have to be perfect for your mate. You just got to be perfect for you. Because guess who the only person you're obligated to Who's obligated to deal with you? You. Now, you, of course, you have children. Yeah, he did it without water, honey. I don't know how he did it without water either. You have children. You are obligated to nurture, love your children. You have a spouse, you have mate, you have parents. Yeah, but we all can make a conscious decision when we are going in overload. We can step away. We can say, "Ah, I need a minute. I'll be back, guys. You got the kids? Okay, yeah, keep an eye on them. I gave them something to eat. Let them sit down." And you can step away. And I always tell people, have a baby, when you design and decor your bathroom in your house, make sure you put all kinds of lovely things that you need in there. Because it's not only a room to escape to use the facilities, it is also an escape. It is the one place that you are guaranteed privacy. You can tell someone, excuse me, and no one is offended if you're going in the bathroom without them. Well, they shouldn't be. And if you have to retreat to the bathroom to have a cry, to decompress, to woosah, relax, relate, release, whatever, do that. That's your restoration of peace. Do that. Don't let anybody own your peace of mind. I am comfortable in my skin. I'm comfortable being natural without all the glam and the zhuzhing and all that. I'm comfortable being me. Because guess what? When it's all said and done, none of that matters. We know people that was the cutest thing in the book. Where they at? Up in heaven. If they made it in, they 6 feet under. Ain't that much cute in the world. Ain't that much fine in the world. Ain't that much six pack in the world. Because when it's all said and done, there's people that have the six pack of life and they laying in somebody's hospital bed wishing they could trade it in and just be okay and healthy and alive and mobile and independent. All of those things in life, the superficialities of life, do not make joy and peace. A lot of people always opt for the word happiness. I want to be happy. I want to be happy. I always tell them, be careful looking for happiness, baby. It has external locus of control. You could be happy. You could be as happy as a bug in a rug and feeling yourself and walk out and somebody walk up and be like, I wouldn't have chose that shirt. But that's you. It's okay if you like it. And then your happiness is gone. But baby, when you opt for peace and joy, that comes from God. No one can interrupt that. No one can get betwixt your relationship with God, your peace and your joy. That's you and God. They could walk in and be like, I wouldn't have chose that shirt. And you could turn around and be like, bloop, you ain't wearing it. Mind the business that pays you. Have it a good one, honey, and walk away. And you still have peace and joy. But when you focus and center everything on happiness, someone, especially people who are miserable with themselves, the gaslighters, the hateful people, baby, they looking for for joy and peace to snatch. Well, they looking for happiness to snatch every day, all day. They looking for souls to disrupt every day, all day. We're not going to hand that over to them. Look, Kaylee said, my family knows better. They better not let me hear any mouth noises at the table. And look, we come from West Indian families, Kaylee and I. Baby, soup day? Oh, Lord, help me, Father God. On soup day, honey, they be in there. I used to get kicked out of the dining room. They used to say, I'll be looking around the table like, do you have to slurpy soup like that? My grandmother, my mother, oh, they'd be like, how are you going to tell people how to eat? Now, mind you, the hypocrisy of it all is my mother was a very, classy, very upwardly mobile person. And so she made us go to, finishing school and learn how to set the table and great, you know, just everything on how to present yourself appropriately. And then you sitting in the house on a regular, like slurping soup like child. It was the contradictions of my childhood, but such is life. We all have them. We all have a story. Um, but I love myself. I'm at peace and I'm at joy. Yeah. Now, when you was little, you ain't have no options, but they used to throw me out. They used to be like, "Go eat in the kitchen." I'd be like, gladly. I'm telling you, it sounded like a Velcro factory and just slurping and lip smacking, and you could hear the pressing together and the separating. It was too much for my nerve endings, far too much. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I try to be a blessing. I try to bring positivity. I try to be um, just who I am. Like, I promise you. Now, there's no one who's above reproach or perfect. No one. Um, I don't walk around and offend or foul people in life. You will never hear a story about somebody say she started with me. You'll never hear a story about anybody coming to say she. Well, here's the deal. You may hear a story, but it's a lie. It's a lie. Because anybody that knows me will tell you, who huh? She ain't starting nothing with nobody. I'm always quick to rush and help someone. I told you what my daughter always says about me in the supermarket. In fact, my daughter's right here. You don't have to come on camera, but what do you always say, the dopest show producer? Child, I can't hear you. She's like, that you always help people. I'm in the supermarket. You would think I work at the supermarket. I see elderly people or people who are somehow infirmed and in one of those little scooters and they can't reach something or they're looking around and they just seem lost or whatever. And I'm always like, hey, what do you need? What can I assist you with? And typically they usually look me up and down and go, you work here? And I'm like, no, but I don't mind helping you. What do you need? Because someday I'm going to be an old lady and I want to know that, God forbid, I've put enough deposits in my spiritual account that when I'm looking for something or I can't reach something, someone will, of their own free will, come and assist me. Hopefully, I have enough good deeds in my spiritual account that it will replenish itself and come right back at me, as we should all. We should all hope that, hey, what up for Show TV? How you doing, my brother? I am fantastic. How you doing? I'm so happy to have you here. Everybody get some love to for show. Yeah, what we pour out. That's right, Beverly. What we pour out will come back to us, God willing. And but it's incumbent upon us. Here's the thing. I never do it looking for return. It just is natural to me. I just always want to help. Like, I don't mind helping. And it's crazy. What up, Sarah? Well, keep your eyes focused on the road, girl. Just listen. I don't want you distracted. Um, it is not lost on me that people are always astounded when I try to help because they're so used to people not helping. I never forget, I was in a supermarket one day with my daughter, and there was an older gentleman looking around, and everybody was walking past him, and he seemed so confused. Confused is the best word to use. And he was like, no, why did they move everything? Where did they move that stuff to? And I instantly could feel his energy. I'm an empath. I could feel his energy. And I knew that he was battling something, that he was fighting for his right mind, but at the same time, something was overtaking him, which I could only assume to have been dementia or Alzheimer's. And so in his mind, or perhaps he had walked into a tear in the time space continuum. I know you guys always hear me talk about that because we walk through shifts. Probably wandered through a tear in the time space continuum. And when he was in this shift, everything in the supermarket was in a different place. But he was certain that everything had been moved around. And I said, what are you looking for? What do you need? He said, I don't know why they moved all of the fruits and vegetables. They were right here, but now they moved. And I said, you know what? There was nothing to gain by admonishing him, by demonizing him, by telling him he was wrong. And I just said, isn't it difficult when they do that? Because you just don't know where to find things. He said, I know, right? And I said, absolutely. I said, let me see if I can help you find it. What you looking for? And I proceeded to walk the supermarket with him and help him shop for everything he needed. And I turned around to my daughter and said, I'm sorry. She was like, Mommy, it's okay. I don't mind. She's like, you are so nice. You always help everybody. You always are so nice, Mommy. Listen, it just feels like the right thing in my spirit. I'm not even conscious of it half the time. I just do. Yeah, I love it. Sophia said, I get that all the time. Why are you so kind? Why are you always quick to help? And I'm like, why is being good a good God loving person inside and out such a rejected concept, because people don't, but people have been shown the example that those people are far and few between, and they're jaded. They start to believe that there is some ulterior motive when you're kind. Lisa said, I worked in a supermarket for many years. That was me too. I used to help them shop, ring them up, and bag their groceries. My coworkers never understood why I would do that. It's the right thing. That's right. That's right. I can't listen, and I won't even go down the mantra of how many times I somebody didn't have the money to pay for their groceries, and I was like, go ahead, I got it. I just it's what resonates in my spirit. It's just the right thing to do. I met these ladies one time. I was at somewhere and I met these older ladies. I'm trying to remember, where did I meet these ladies? I think at a church or something. But this lady, she saw me in these heels and she walked up and she was like, "Ooh, girl, you stepping in them heels, girl. Oh Lord, I used to do that when I was your age, girl. You look so beautiful." She's like, "But I can't do that no more." And they was some classy older black ladies. They just look so gorgeous. And I was like, "Oh, I'm a grandma's girl. So I love older people. I truly do." And so I was like, "Oh," I said, "but I see how dainty you are. You got," I said, "I hope to be as gracious and as fancy as you guys are when I reach your age." I said, "You look amazing." And then I started talking to them. I was like, "How's your day going? What's going on?" And they were just like, "Oh, we don't know what we want to do today. We're just gonna hang around or whatever." And I think I had been doing something. There was a movie out. That's when that movie about the Tuskegee Airmen came out. And I had literally bought out a theater and was just paying for everybody to go see it, because I felt like this is something I know, given the opportunity to go to the movies, most people are going to go see something entertaining that they're going to laugh and have fun with. But most people are not going to spend their money, which is what I've found, to go and get educated. Red tails, exactly, Sarah. And when I was talking to the lady, I had already started biting, bought out the theater like 2 days before for the upcoming Sunday. I wanted everybody to come to the movies that Sunday. And so I had to, I went on the radio and told about it. If you want to see Red Tails, you can meet me at this movie theater, and you'll be able to get admission in. Just say such and such when you get to the ticket window. And I have an entire theater, so first come, first serve, all that stuff. And when I was talking to these ladies, I said, "Tell me about your lives. You guys are so amazing. Tell me about your life." And she said, well, one of them was like, "Well, I'm a widow and my husband was a Tuskegee Airman." I said, "What?" I said, "Are you kidding me?" They're like, "No, my husband is a Tuskegee Airman." I said, "Oh my God, have you heard of the new movies?" She said, Red Tails. I absolutely have. She said, "I would love to go see it, but I'm on a fixed income." I said, "You are my guests. You are my guest." It was her and two other ladies. And they're like, "What do you mean?" I said, I bought out a theater. I'm showing it. I'm paying for people to see it tomorrow." And they were like, "What? Why would you do that?" And I said, "I think it's important history for our people to know." And the lady just started crying and she was like, "Oh my God, you're so sweet." I gave them all my information, took their information, and told them to meet me at the movie theater the next day for signing. I mean, not a signing, for the viewing. And they got listen, them ladies was probably the first ones there. They was early. You know how old people be on time, honey. They ain't got no time for the tardiness. They said they will not be tardy to the party. And the lady made me a card by hand. I still have the card with some high heel stilettos. She used some type of art paint, and I had on some patent leather Louboutins, and she made me some patent leather Louboutins on the front of the card. And I was just like, "Oh my God, where'd you find this card?" She was like, "I made it." I said, "What?" She said, "I made it. This is what I used to do when I was younger." And the card was so beautiful. And she had this most beautiful handwritten note to me inside, an inscription, and all her friends signed it. And they were just like, "We brought an extra fan. I hope you don't mind." I said, "Absolutely not." And so the four of them came in and they went in. I bought them whatever they wanted at the concession stand. And, it was just, that's me. That's just who I am. God has blessed me to be able to be a blessing in life. And that's who I am. I've been up. Oh, wow. Sarah said, "I met the last survivor before he passed." Wow. That is magnificent. That is magnificent. And I don't even know where these ladies are. Uh, they were older ladies. They could very well still be alive. It's been some years now. I would love to know if they're still around. I would absolutely. Sophia said, what did you say? Hey, Keisha. Sophia said, if if ever, did or do you ever experience the feeling of this world is not meant for my soul, but cannot help being who you are, regardless of what? Absolutely. Oh, child, that's the story of my life. Story of my life. I, not only do I experience that, people say to me and have said to me forever and a day. I've had literally people say, I don't think you're human. I am certain that you have to be an angel. You're not human. I've never met anyone who thinks like you, who rationalizes existence like you, who is just the way you are, like who's kind like you. I'm telling you. I have a girlfriend that was my neighbor, two daughters. She used to say, I don't know nobody that think like you. I really think you're an angel having a human experience, but I really think you're an angel. You're not an average human. And I said, it's funny. Whenever people say that to me, I said, it's funny. You're right. I've never felt like I was of this world. Never. Okay, Sarah, I've never felt like I was of this world. I always felt like I was other. It's why I always talk about a tear in the time and space continuum, because I feel like at some point I walked through a tear in the time space continuum. I truly do. I had, might sound a little wackadoodle, but I'm in the over 50 that I don't care club. So I don't care what people think about it. But when I was a child, I always had this knowing and aversion to the dark, not just the dark, but nighttime, being outside at nighttime. And so clearly in a past life, I may have had a very bad experience at night because I have this aversion to the I have this aversion to I had the aversion to the dark and being outside. Thank you, Cindy. She said you are definitely a blessed spirit. I wish I would have had you in my life during my trauma. Oh my. Listen, you have me now. You have me now. Everything in God's time. During your trauma, you may not have been able to take it in, but you got me now. And Eloise, Elena, I got your email. I tried to respond to you and it would not allow me to respond to you. Perhaps a byproduct of the hackation, but we'll figure it out. Um, but I had this experience, and for some now, we lived in one of those big pre-war buildings in New York before my mom bought her house. I was like and 4 or 5. And so help me God, the lock, I don't know if you know those up north apartments. Not only are they those heavy steel pre-war buildings with those heavy steel doors on the pre-war buildings, but then they had this bar that you moved aside and it had a little depression, and it was a bar that would prevent anyone from ever kicking in your door or battering ram or anything from pushing your door in. And it was mounted in a hole, a set in hole in the floor that had like a metal bracket around it, and then it went in this little thing, and it protected anyone from pushing your door in, breaking your door, whatever. Vaughn, can you give me? I need a chargeable. Do I have the block here? Oh, thank you. And for some reason, I, and this door was heavy. It's not a door you could easily manipulate as a child. It was an extremely heavy door, not the least of which it was also tall. So you couldn't reach up at that height and unlock the door. But somehow, not only did I manage to open the door and unlock it, I unlocked the door, walked out of our house, and went to the corner store at night by myself. It has never made sense to me or anyone. It was dark outside. I remember feeling like the spotlight. You ever seen a cartoon where the spotlight is right over one person? So if they move to the left, that spotlight moves to the left. If they move to the right, it moves. The moon was like a spotlight right over me, and it followed me to the store. And even the man at the corner store who knew my mother and knew the whole community, he said, "What are you doing here? Who are you with?" And I had one nickel. I don't know if you guys remember. I think I've told this story before. I don't know if you remember those brown cookies. It's like a rectangle shaped brown cookie, and it's scalloped on the edges, and it has this pink icing on top of it. They were cookies that were out in the 70s and 80s. I haven't seen them in years. I think the wrapper was like white with like a purplish kind of, you know, decoration around it. But I remember walking to the store. I had 1 nickel. Those cookies cost 15 cents. He said, "Where's your mother, your father? Who are you with? Why are you outside at this hour of the night?" And I said, "I came to get some cookies." This man looked at me like I was from another planet. He was like, "What?" He was like, "Your mother know you out here?" And I was like, "I came to get some cookies." He knew something wasn't right. He absolutely unequivocally knew something wasn't right. And he was like, "Look, 15 cent, where's your mother?" I ain't even had a man 15 cent. I gave him the nickel and said, "I'll give you the 10 cents the next time I'm here." He was like, "Go home." I took the cookies, walked back home. As I got back up to, and it felt like I had only been gone a few minutes. It was very dark outside, but the light was right over me. It was all these bodies moving around, which were humans, I assume, adults. They were adults. And people would look at me like, "Where the hell is she going?" And it was night. By the time I got back to that building, it had been a whole search party looking for me. And they said I was gone for a long time. And I was like, "What? I just went to the store." And everybody was like, "Where the hell have you been?" Where? I couldn't understand what this whole confusion was. They said I was gone for a long time. It only felt like I was gone for a few minutes. I have never really and then I started having these, and I think that's when I started astral projecting, because I had a very traumatic dream of myself falling from the building. I mean, so traumatic, I could feel myself mid fall. I could feel myself mid fall. It was too realistic. And I just was like, "Oh my goodness." And after that, I never played with heights. You hear me? When I say never played with heights, baby, I remember my sister convinced me to get on the Ferris wheel at Great Adventure, Six Flags Great Adventure. Yep. And I remember, no, not the steering wheel, not the steering wheel lock. This was a door lock. It was like a long this lock, this pole was about, it had to be about 5 feet tall or 6 feet tall. It was a long pole. It nestled in the floor, and then it went up to the door, and it locked the door. So you couldn't even push the apartment door past a certain, like, if that pole was engaged. You would have to put the pole in the little thing and move it out of the way to open the door fully. And I suspect that this pole was like not just an anti break-in pole, but it was also anti, like, nobody could just push you in, because the door would only open a certain amount if that pole was engaged and in the way. And I promise you, I thought it was just a few minutes, but they said I was gone for hours. Oh, thank you, Latanya. Latanya said, "When I served in Iraq at Kirkuk Air Base, my squadron was named in honor of the Tuskegee Airmen. Salute to you for buying out the theater." Thank you, my love, and thank you for your service. Thank you for your service, Latanya. And thank all of our servicemen and spouses. Thank you for your service, and the children of our service people, because there is a sacrifice you all had to make. Stagecoach cookies, is that what they were called? Yes, that sounds familiar, Barbara. Stagecoach cookies. You remember those things? There's a certain thing. Listen, there's some stuff that a whole generation of people will never know about, because, oh my gosh, stagecoach cookies. Yes, Elaine. Thank you. I appreciate it, my love. She said, oh, hold on, let me put Elaine up here on the screen. Elaine said, "Thank you. I will send from another email and see if that helps. You make so much sense to me. I love it." Thank you, my love. And listen, I totally understood your email, and have no fear. You don't need to feel like anything is wrong. You have a gift. Stand in it, enjoy it, embrace it. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful journey, and I want to help you walk it. Sophia said, "Thank you so much, y'all. It's been a journey, but the veil of earthly trauma is starting to lift." And finally, I said, "God, here, you take the wheel," and everything started falling in place. Listen, that's the key, right? Shout out to Sophia, baby. You dropped the bomb. Let me give you a star, boo. Because let me tell you something. You dropped the bomb. Let me tell you something, girl. Do you know that that is the key to life? Surrender. Surrender is the key to peace and joy. I keep telling people with this whole Jesus take the wheel. You ain't got to tell Jesus to take no wheel. He gave you the wheel. He know you can't drive. Just like everybody on the road. They know you can't drive. Jesus know you can't drive. He gave you the wheel. Or you don't have to tell him to take the wheel. Jesus, the job is the position is filled. You know how you apply for a job and they say, "Unfortunately, we're going with another candidate." Or the position has been filled internally. AKA, we got this. What you have to do is you have to what was that? Keisha said that's how you know the world is changing. It used to be pitch black only. Yes, listen, now it's triple black. I've been on some streets when I've been driving on the highway and I'm telling you, been triple black outside. You can't see nothing on the left or the right of you. But that comes from an ascension also. That comes from an ascension. I'm sorry I'm dropping that thing in the chat, y'all. You know I'm on this the way the things are showing up. It's let's see. You got to surrender. Surrendering is the key to life, baby. The key to life. Surrendering is the key to life. When you surrender, that is how you overcome what you persist and consider to be the pitfalls of life. Surrender, relinquish control. It is death to self, death to the ego death. Baby, you know how you always have to have your hair done and your outfit looking right and your shoes perfect and your sneakers fly to run up to the corner store? Get up one day when you need something from the store and just go. I mean, wash your face and thing, but all the flyness, no. I don't care if you got a t-shirt with paint on it and it might have a little tear in the corner and all that. Go to the store just like that. I'm not telling you to not be fly. What I'm telling you is free yourself from societal bonds that cause you to have to feel like you must be fly at all times. Baby, when I tell you ain't nothing more freeing than that, when I tell you you will relinquish, when you have ego death, that is when you truly start to live. You have got to rid yourself of the need to be so superior in your ego that you are sharp and fly about it all the time. I promise you. That's when you're gonna really level up. You're gonna be like, "Oh, is this what it is? I've been looking for this all my life." Promise you. Try it. Ego death. Ego death. I promise you. And it doesn't mean you're gonna be annihilated. It means that you relinquish and surrender to God all that other stuff. Who's this? God's Q said, "The dopest nerd, I've been telling everybody about you and your page. Are you saying that you're about God or astral projection? I couldn't tell." I'm all about God, but I've astral projected beyond a shadow of a doubt. I still astral project. You don't have control over that. And all of that is about God. Listen, here's the contradictory that people try to tell you, this is this and don't do that and this is not this is demonic and listen. People are so contradictory about God in the Bible. They cherry pick. I said if I decided to go back and get my PhD, I was going to write my thesis on cherry picking the Bible, a guide to how people use the Bible and weaponize it to win their arguments. I used to know people that used to, I went to theology school. I don't know. Some of you guys are new here. You may not know that. I went to theology school because I watched my grandmother. I said, I have a book in me that I will write. And I'll probably write it this, once my daughter goes off to college. I'm going to have a lot of time as an empty nester trying to figure out what I'm going to do with child. dealing with that. But I've always had this book inside of me because I watched my grandmother. I call it desperately seeking God. I watched my grandmother. Of course, our family started out as Pentecostal from Trinidad, but I watched my grandmother be Pentecostal. I watched her go through Catholicism. I watched her be a Baptist, and she was a Baptist when she was younger with her great aunt. I watched her go through Baptist, like American Baptist. I watched her go through Buddhism. I watch her circle and go through all of that and circle back to Pentecostal church. I'm talking at one point where I still remember, I'm 55. I ain't heard this thing in at least 35, 40 years. And I could still hear my grandmother chanting, "Nameyo horinge kyoho shishirin shoshinke," doing the Buddhist chant. I'm 55. I haven't heard it since at least 16 years old. So we'll say 39, 40 years. But I can hear it in I know it beyond a shadow of a doubt in my head. But it wasn't so much that she was hopping religions, it was that she had an unending, infinite quest and search for God. She was desperately searching for God and a higher power, and she wanted God. My grandmother, listen, I told y'all, there has never been a day. I'm 55 now. She passed away a few years ago. There's never been a day since my grandmother, since I walked the face of the earth or when I was carried. This woman has always, she has never been so presumptuous to even anticipate a tomorrow without first giving God reverence. I didn't know the word was tomorrow. I thought it was, like my grandmother said, all day, every day. Tomorrow, please, God. Tomorrow, please, God. She never just took for granted that she had a tomorrow. She was always in honor and reverence of God. Tomorrow, please, God. She would say, well, I'll say, Grandma, can we go to something? Well, tomorrow, please, God, I will see. If I don't have to work, I will go and we'll carry you and go and do. She never presumed. She was never so presumptuous to say, we going to go tomorrow. Like, I'm going to be here, God. We going tomorrow. Oh, no. She always was in reverence and honor of God. If God deems it okay, then we will go. If God blesses me with another day. And that is why every single day of my life, before my feet touch the floor, as I rise, I'm already. Father God, thank you for waking me up and giving me life to live, the breath to breathe, and a chance to do it all over again. Thank you for my amazing children. I call everybody's name. Thank you for my family. I call everybody's name. Thank you for my ancestors. I call everybody. And I always say, those known and unknown, named and unnamed, who have our highest and best interest at heart. Because, baby, watch the ancestors that you give reverence to. Every one of them wasn't your friend. You better qualify things. Devil in the details, boo boo. You better be specific. I always say those known and unknown, named and unnamed, who have our highest and best interests at heart, because them ancestors, and I always wish them continue to rest in heavenly peace and float amongst the ancestors. May you have been welcomed at the gate, baby. Let me tell you something. You calling on some of them, that don't mean you're no good. And that's why you're stuck in a rut. Because they hated you in the living life. So you think if there's power beyond, you ain't getting it from them? They are lashing you with 40 noodles. But yes, I believe in astral projection. And I'm telling you, to this day, you see how my skin nice and clear and free up? Just how my chest looking so, my back looking so. And I will wake up with a long scratch across my back. Where did it come from? I went to sleep last night without it. That has to come from astral projecting. I did not sit up and then listen. No shade on me because I'm working on myself. I be working out and stuff, but I can't even reach my arm back where the scratch will be. I literally can reach my arm back, and I promise you, the scratch is in a region I cannot individually reach myself. And why would I scratch my skin? I don't like. Mm-mm. We astral project. So I'm not here to debate with people who want to be hyper religious because I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. But I don't debate with people who are hyper religious and want to have this showdown of, oh, no, no, no. Nope. I'm not debating you. I'm not debating you. I'm telling you what my experience here is. And perhaps my experience is not the same as some other people's experience. But baby, nobody can tell me what I know. My daughter will like, where'd you get the scratch on your back? I'm like, I don't, I must have astral projected because I woke up and I felt my back tingling. I was like, what is this? Big scratches across my back. Because I be fighting in my, listen, I'm a warrior in life and in the sleep realm. Yep, you got to surrender it. You got to surrender it. And here's the deal. Nikki said, I had to surrender my childhood, essay trauma, and adult graped. It freed me, the Lord's love. First and foremost, sis, congratulations. I'm so grateful for you that it freed you. You deserve it. Free yourself. Never fall out of love. Never forget the little girl and the little boy inside of you. They are still in there. See, time, you remember when we were in school and they used to say, when you come back from, Thanksgiving break, make a timeline of what you did over Thanksgiving break. Make a timeline, and you made this linear line. You started it on one day. We did this on this day. We did that, and then my grandparents came to town, and my aunt took us ice skating, and you do this whole little linear line. Well, guess what? That was the hoodwink and the bamboozle. They have lied to us for time immemorial. Time is not linear. Time is not linear. Time is cyclical. Time is cyclical, and so the past, the present, and the future are all taking place as we speak. All taking place as we speak. It is this level of wisdom and ascension that I have that makes me understand why people fall out. There are shifts. There are multiverses. You've heard this term, the multiverse. You think it's just something they made up for, you know, X-Men and all that. No, we live in multiverses, and there are times, there are tears in the time and space continuum. People quantum leap into other realms. You know how you'll have a discussion with your sister and your cousin, y'all all in the background. Maybe it's a little family cookout, nothing big, a little family get together. And then somebody says, yeah, because she used to drink up all the soda and nobody couldn't get nothing. And you'll look and be like, what? What are you talking about? No, I didn't. And they'd be like, all of them start ganging up. You a liar. You used to drink all the soda. And you looking like what the are y'all talking about? I never did that. You know why? Because that was a time jump. The another version of you in that time shift used to drink all the soda, but you in this current incarnation didn't do it. And everyone swears you did it. And they are talking with conviction and passion and blaming you. And you're like, why is everybody attacking me? This is stupid. Because you have jumped through timelines. And so the version of you that was in that timeline probably used to drink all the soda. The version of you that you are in your current awareness belongs to another timeline. For some reason, you walked through a portal of the time space continuum and you were into another version of yourself. I know it sounds like cuckoo, stuff to people, but y'all better get into this. If God is the Alpha and the Omega and he's able to create all things, then why are we limiting God? Why do we limit God? I hear people argue over, is Allah God? Is Yeshua God? Is God Almighty God? Is Jehovah God? Is all these different gods? Is Buddha? Listen, if God is the Alpha and the Omega, if you got a loaf of bread and there is a slice of bread on the end of one bread is on this end, and the end of the bread is on the other end, and there's something in the middle, what you think that stuff in the middle is? It's bread. So if the one slice of bread is the alpha and the other slice is the omega, everything in the middle is bread. God can be many things. God, he is so infinite in his wisdom, just like there are grains of sand on this earth. There are so many grains of sand. Just like they say there are no two snowflakes that are alike. They all present in a different incarnation, but they're no less a snowflake. So if he made the vastness of this globe, not globe, flat earth, I don't care what you say, fight your mama, not me, flat earth. The Bible says the four corners of the earth. Show me a globe with four corners on it. Okay? Anyway, I digress. Fight your mama, not me. There are different versions of us. And that's why my daughter always says, Ma, you really don't mess with mirrors no more. Heck no. I done took all the, you don't notice? Oh, y'all haven't seen me sit in that area of my room again. I took that mirror down. Mirrors are portals. If mirrors face each other, you create a portal. You might be in your bedroom and be like, where is my, I know I put this thing on my dresser. Where's this thing? Meanwhile, you got the mirror on your dresser facing the mirror on your closet door. And you walking in and out of portals, boo. I don't even mess with mirrors like that no more. I took them down. I don't like them. I can feel the energy, something ain't right. When I walk into a store and they got a mirror hanging on this wall and a mirror over there facing it, I ain't walking through that thing. I walk around to go to the other side. I'm not, I'm telling you, we are passing through tears in the time space continuum. There are multiverses. It might sound cuckoo to Cocoa Buffs. I'm telling you, Joy to the World said, I just looked at the title of this video, Natanya, you are hilarious and not playing. Oh, because you know what? That's what I intended to talk about. But then when I got in this thing, because it's blocked me, they've hacked my account and blocked me out of the ability to um oh, Keisha said I was brought up Pentecostal. My mom says, if it's God's will, that's right. Because it's all reverence to God. Then you got other people who swear they are so religious, and I don't never hear them call give no reference to God. God's Q said I came out of that, among other things, family from the Caribbean too, where they did deliverance ministry too. That's right. I respect you, but I disagree. Astral projection is a form of sorcery. I still wish you the best. Listen, it's all good, my love. It's all good. I'm telling you. Ain't a single thing about me sorceress. I talk to God all day, every single day. I give reverence. People look at me strange because when I used to be fast foodie, I would sit in a fast food restaurant and be like, say your grace. Because people think you're only supposed to say your grace at home when you eat. I say my grace everywhere. Because not only am I praying for the nourishment of my body and the replenishment of my strength, but I'm praying over whoever hands prepared this. Huh? What? Hey! What? Congratulations. That is spectacular. Y'all know my daughter's a beauty pageant contestant. Today was the Miss Georgia Teen USA pageant, and a black girl won the Miss Georgia Teen USA, and she's a Trini girl. So my daughter's happy. She was supposed to be in that pageant, but off to college, she ain't got time. But here's the thing. I get that. I get what we don't understand. We kind of push away. We reject. We think it sounds like gobbledygook. It sounds like Meshuggah. It sounds like tomfoolery. But here's what I always admonish people to do. Do not disavow anybody's experience. To do so is to limit the hand of God. And baby, greatest mistake you'll ever make. Greatest mistake. It's the people who don't understand, who are limiting. Because here's the thing about religion religion requires you to set boundaries, limits, restrictions, and that is just the locus of control. Sophia Bernadette. I always say I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. And oh man, the minute it's not the societal equivalent of what they understand, it must be of the devil. It goes way, way deeper than that, though. First of all, let me say something. You're 100% right. You're 100% right, sis. And Asheo for that. And here's why I say it. I hear people say, God is the creator of all things. God is the Alpha and the Omega. God is this. God does everything. God does everything. If God does everything, and you use Himalayan pink salt in your bath to luxuriate on your food, all kind of thing, but you telling me crystals is sorcery? Listen here, that came from the earth. It is of the earth. You want to know what Himalayan pink salt is? Let's do the etymology of a word. Break your word down, sound it out. Because while they may spell it a particular way, there's something called an automatopoeia. That is when you have a word that sounds exactly like another word, but it means something different. Sound it out. Himalayan. You ever look at Himalayan pink salt and where they get it from? In the mines, because it ain't all from the Himalayas, baby. It's right in these caves and dwellings right here in America. They are the internal, biological, petrified pieces of the Nephilim giants. You don't believe me? Start watching I Am Q Hef. We don't have a mod to drop them in the chat, the links, but I Am Q Hef Herky, Right 7X, Dre underscore OG. Start watching those channels. Look up the Nephilim. Look up Seesaw. You're going to see that the insides of these mountains look like the insides of people's body. And they're breaking this up and calling it Himalayan. So I promise you, look it up. Do some research. You have to understand anything that is mainstream is the lie. Anything that is mainstream is the lie. You see these old world buildings? You see these massive monolithic structures? They told you that we didn't have any power tools in 1860 something. And then all of a sudden the power tool was created, and 5 years later they built the structure. You see some of these buildings that they cannot build now. They say they built the building in 7 months. It is a monolithic. I'm talking with spires, and you see the etchings and the carvings on these buildings. Why do you think no one's allowed into the Grand Canyon? Go look at some of these old world buildings that's in your mainstream city, downtown. Look at the courthouse. Why do they have hieroglyphs, Egyptian hieroglyphs, dragons, griffins etched into the ornate decor on the building? You ain't never seen a dinosaur etched into not one of those buildings. You've never seen a dinosaur etched into a hieroglyph. Nowhere. Egypt, here, even on your favorite show, what's the name? Khaleesi. She's on a dragon. Dragons are mentioned in the Bible. I think it's 84 times. There's not one mention of a dinosaur. Stop believing mainstream. You are being hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok, led astray. Free yourself from the matrix. Anything that is mainstream prescribed information is the lie. It is the lie. Free yourself from mental slavery. None but us can free our mind. Hashtag Bob Marley, Robert Nesta Marley. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but us can free our mind. There are things I vehemently believed when I was younger, and as I ascended, I came to know no such thing exists. It was a lie. Or else you wouldn't be able to see the parallels between the school to prison pipeline. You see how they line you up in school? Single file, get in line. It's the same shit they do in jail. You see how the lunchroom in school is organized? That's what it looked like in a jail cell. You see how desks are stacked up in the schoolhouse? That's what your cubicles look like. Your man Rockefeller said, I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers. Why do you think you have athletics and sports? To keep you so distracted that you don't see you are being hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok. That's what this thing is. So don't get so cozied and caught up in matrix ideology, because in order to control, to maintain a level of control, they have to keep you believing the okey doke. They have to have you believing the okey doke. The minute that you don't believe the okey doke anymore, like the Bible says, those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. The minute you don't believe the okey doke anymore, you're like, wait a minute. Oh my God. You're able to see right through it. But when you have your blinders on, you cannot see it. As long as you are beholden to, you know, well, they said blah, 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 blah. And they said, and then you stop somebody, who is they? You know, the folks that, who said it? That's why I always say cite your sources. Because a lot of stuff is put into the lexicon of they said this and they said that. And guess what? Nobody can tell you who they is. Okay, Keisha, she said she's been watching IMQ have phenomenal stuff. It opens you into Keisha. Nirvana said hi. She said hi. Kaylee said my mother and my grandmother would get upset if I make future plans without saying God willing. Indeed. Sophia said, the first nightmare I ever had at 13, 14, I woke up in a dream and my mom was a red tint. I looked in the mirror and the reflection smiled back at me. Since then, I was like, yeah, no. Listen, I'm telling you. Elaine said, I just took a large wardrobe mirror down, just didn't like them, but didn't know why. All right. Listen, you did right, honey. Oh my goodness, I've learned something new about the mirrors. Thank you for educating me on that. You're welcome, Beverly. I'm telling you, my spirit is like, take them mirrors down. If you watch some of the stuff that come on, like I Am QHF and all of them, you're gonna see where you've never seen. You're gonna tell me that once you start watching these compilation videos of experiences that people are experiencing, like, okay, for instance, if I say something and you say, that sounds like sorcery, this, that, the other. You know what sorcery is? Okay, everybody, get in a circle. You stand right here. Somebody turn off the light. Who has a match? Let me light the candles. Happy birthday. Singing happy birthday in a circle to one person in the dark with candles lit and redundantly singing is witchcraft. That is sorcery. You are doing an incantation. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Make a wish, close your eyes, blow out the candle. What? This is what I'm saying. We be so hyper religious and so hyper in the matrix, we don't understand. The English language was created to make word curses. You know what sorcery is? Waking up, arising. See, waking up. Awake is a mourning ceremony done for a funeral. But yet they tell you you are waking up because basically they consider us to be the walking unalived. hmm I never say good morning. Morning is a period of grief and and sorrow and that you feel after the annihilation of somebody, the unaliving of somebody. And yet you wake up every day. You see, you arise every day and you tell the people in your life, good morning. Do you know that was a derivative of slavery? That is how they used to gaslight the enslaved people. Whenever they sold off their children and their husbands and their wives and sisters and brothers, once they sold you off, when you got up, they told you the next morning, good morning, because they wanted you to suffer the indignity of having to work even in the midst of having lost your child. It was gaslighting. It was a spell casting. And y'all say it to each other every day. You say it to your kids and send them off to school and can't figure out why they having a hard day. This world is, there's so much more going on in this world than you could even imagine. I promise you. I promise you. I'll tell you, I was pregnant with Nirvana. A teacher used to call me Nirvana. hmm A teacher used to call me Nirvana when I was a teenager. And so one day I said, why do you always call me Nirvana? My name is Natanya. And he's like, because you're wise like an old sage, wise one. So I call you Nirvana. You have a level of enlightenment. And I was like, okay. And at the time, it didn't mean that much to me. But then that name stuck with me. And I always said, if I ever have a daughter, I'm going to name her Nirvana. And so I had a nonprofit before I had Nirvana. And the nonprofit was named Nirvana. And then Nirvana got her name. Once I had a daughter, I named her Nirvana. Her dad wanted her to be named Samadhi. And I was like, where'd you get that name from? And he just like, I don't know. I like it. He just snatched it out of the air and was like, well, I want her to be named Samadhi. I want to name her. I want her to be. And I said, no, her name is going to be Nirvana. I always said, and not the least of which is, and like me. So Nirvana, it made sense. I knew that Nirvana is this highest form of spiritual enlightenment. That's what Nirvana means, the highest form of spiritual enlightenment. Well, guess what? Her middle name is Samadhi, and that means the highest form of spiritual enlightenment. It means nirvana. I told you about my interaction with the lady Sammy. I believed Sammy was an angel. She came to me where I worked. She said, in America, is it okay to ask a pregnant woman about her pregnancy? I said, yes. She said, Do you know what you're having? I said, No. She said, Do you have names pick? I said, Yes. I want her to be Nirvana, but her dad wants Samadhi. She reached her hand towards my stomach and said, It has been ordained. I looked at her like, What are you talking about? And she said, They both mean the same thing in two different cultures. Now, I guarantee you, I did not know that, and neither did he. And he didn't know what Samadhi meant. But this is how God's infinite wisdom is. This is how infinite God's wisdom is. God placed in him, because Nirvana, when I tell you she epitomized Nirvana in my womb and throughout her life, I've had a problem out of this child. I have not had a problem out of this child. She is just a magnificent, great young lady. I don't have a problem out of her. She do her work. She is honor roll. Her report card came. She had 105. Her grades were 105, 103. Whose grades are like that? Like, whose grades are like that? This is her final report card from high school. Whose grades are like that? Come on. I don't have a problem. Now listen. Now she don't wash no dishes. But listen, she ain't perfect because she ain't Jesus. And neither am I. Because I don't like the dishes either. Absolutely. And listen, God is cute. God's Q. I love her. God's Q said, I love and respect everybody. I just believe in God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. Just ask Jesus to reveal himself to you. See, the fact that you would think that you need to tell me that, it tells me way more than I need to than I need to know. I'm telling you. Why would you assume that you need to tell me that? Now, there's nothing wrong with sharing that with somebody. But after you've experienced me and you heard me talk, you think you need to tell me to ask God to reveal himself to me? Listen, baby, what you think this 25-year period been? I've been walking hand in hand with God. I am the epitome of footprints. Whenever you don't see two sets of feet in the sand, that is when God was carrying me. Okay? You don't got to introduce God to me. I know him better than most people know they self. Promise you. Promise you. I've had the anointing from God. I am God's vessel. I am his worthy vessel. Many are called, but chosen are few. He not only called me, he also chose me. I promise you, there's no way I could have this remarkable story of miraculous life, a miraculous gift, going through being shot in the face, feeling my body particulating and breaking apart right after I got shot. I'm talking separating, like when they say on Star Trek, beam me up, Scotty. I tell you, when the door opened for the club, all of the cold air rushed in and came to me and passed through me, came out the back. I did not feel one solid flesh. It is the day I became spirit. You don't have to introduce me to God, love. And the fact that you say, ask God to reveal himself to you, you should not doubt anybody's walk and relationship with God. It's simply me. It's like school. Just because you're in the second grade and somebody's in the fifth grade doesn't make either one of you better or worse. I'm just further along in my education process through God than you. It's no disrespect, no harm, no foul. Because I am a fervent believer. No test, no testimony. And I'm not saying you haven't had a test. I would never be so presumptuous to say that. I am telling you, irrefutably, in the face of everyone, in front of everybody in the whole wide world, I've been tested, boo. Got 9 bullet fragments in my face to prove it. And yet, I'm telling you, I wrote a thesis in school about people surviving gun violence. That is where I created SHOT, Survivors Helping Others Through. Okay? Holding groups for survivors of gun violence. I happen to know that there are groupings that people fall in. People become hyper spiritual and understanding of God and grateful. There are people that become out of control and think they're faster than a speeding bullet, and start to believe in themselves and think that nothing can they can withstand anything and nothing can harm them, and they go in them streets and end up dying in somebody's gutter. See, I'm tried, tested, and through all these different stages. Do I know everything? Absolutely not. There are so much more things that I need to learn in this life. But here's the difference. I am open to learning them. I'm open to learning them. I don't think I know everything. And I caution people. Sophia said, Oh, yeah, I read that already. I caution people to not set themselves up to this mentality that they know it all, and that they know if they hear this, oh, that's not of God. Because, baby, singing happy birthday to your child, singing happy birthday is an incantation. Look up what an incantation and a spell is. And yet, y'all got 4 kids and you do it every year on their birthday. You put a bunch of people in a circle. When you've seen on TV somebody's having a seance, what do they get? In a circle, in the dark, light a candle in the middle, and say incantations. Oh, come on now. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You can't tell me otherwise. It is a spell. The English language and American culture has been created to cast spells. Most of the words you think you know what you mean, you think you know what they are. Mm-mm. Totally wrong. You ever heard of Black's Law Dictionary? Most of the words you speak every day, you think you know what they mean. You don't. What you call them is not their real meaning. It's not the secret language spoken in this world of the power elite that affect our lives every day. Promise you. Promise you. You sit around a table with a bunch of kids and you write, uh, you sing happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, and make us close your eyes, make a wish, blow out the candle. Baby, that's witchcraft. That is a spell. Go look at witches' covens and see what they do, how they cast spells. Why would you think that they would create that? Do you know that is the biggest song, most widely known song? Because it is a whole incantation casted over society at large. And people willfully do it. You ain't hear the black people change the song? Happy birthday to you. And they sing some other song. You ain't hear Jamaicans say, happy birthday, I'm a friend. One more year upon them. People switch it up because they realize what that other thing was. So while they want to still give honor and grace to the person and acknowledge their day, they know what that other thing was. I promise you. See, please be careful. You gotta. I accept that you're saying what you're saying. God's cue said, please be careful just not to open the wrong spiritual door. We didn't know Jesus, and my friend read 2,000 books and a demon jumped on him. He said, get him off me. Couldn't, and later shot himself. Come on now. Listen, y- your friend read 2,000 books and a demon jumped on him. Listen, demons be walking with some of y'all from birth. Why do you think I have this masterful faith walk? Because a demon clearly tried to take me out. A nightclub full of people, I just got saved and I'm the person shot in the face. God doesn't give you more than you can handle. You've got to stop with self fulfilling prophecy type. Make sure you don't do this because this is going to happen. I believe God is able to do all things. The devil is a defeated foe. Okay? Jesus conquered life, the grave, and sin. Conquered it. I ain't concerned about no demon jumping on me. I stay prayed up. I am under God's anointing. I'm telling you, you would not believe the things I've overcome in my life. You heard me talking. I think you were on the live yesterday. You heard me talking about I was pregnant with my son. He's now 33. That son. I was pregnant with him. I used to work for the state of New York. I was on duty because I had had an injury. I fell and injured myself. They put me on light duty. So I was able to work, but they didn't want me on the ward because I worked at a psychiatric hospital. They didn't want us on the ward. If you're pregnant, they try to put you. So they sent me to work at the hospital just to sit with a client at the hospital. It was all well and good to me. I was working. I was on my break and I said, let me go walk because I was getting closer and closer to my due date. And if you know about being with child, you need to walk as much as possible because that helps you during the birth process. And so I said, oh, I'm going to walk up. I didn't want to eat anything in that hospital. I said, let me walk up to Queens Boulevard. And so I walked down this residential neighborhood, lots of people outside, people watering their flowers, people walking their dog. People was outside up and down the entire block. I got up there, went to a diner, got some food on the way back, walked the same block, a ghost town. I get to the middle of the block, I hear this gut-wrenching scream. Help, help. I can't see anybody. I'm like, who is that? But I'm hearing somebody, I'm talking blood-curdling scream. I'm looking like, what is that coming from? There is not a person in sight. I keep walking up the block. I start walking in the street because I'm like, where's this coming from? As I get closer, the driveways, they come like this. They come off street level and they decline like this into the driveway. And it's a split level house. It has a porch with a little overhang. And then there's also where that driveway goes down, there's a door right there and it goes into a garden apartment. The man was doing work on his car and somehow it disengaged and the car went down the driveway and slammed him into the garage door, crushing him. He's passed out on the hood of the car. His wife is screaming bloody murder. No one's coming to our rescue. Everyone is gone. No one's anywhere to be found. This woman was screaming so loud the whole block should have been outside, and yet no one appeared. I happen onto them. She's screaming, help, help, help. She can't do anything for her husband. She hasn't even called for 911. I was like, oh my God. I went and I started trying to push the car. I told her, get in the car and put it in neutral. She reached in and put the car in neutral. I put the car 8.5 months pregnant up a friggin' incline, up the hill of his driveway to get the car off of him. I pushed it further enough so he could fall to the floor. And then I screamed at his wife, get in the car and put it in park. She puts it in park. And then I'm standing there shocked because now I'm like, oh my God. I said, call 911, call 911. She calls 911. I'm terrified now because not only did I push a car off of a man up a hill, 8.5 months pregnant, and could have injured myself and my baby, I'm late to get back from lunch. Okay? I'm looking around like, where on earth is everybody? When she's screaming and she's talking to the 911 and they're on the way, I go over to the man. I'm like, I see him. He's passed out. Listen, this man is jacked the F up. That car slammed him. And then I almost in without even conscious thought, walked straight back to the hospital and went back to my job. And when I got there, they were like, why are you late? I was like, I just pushed a car off of a man. The car fell down his driveway and slammed him into the wall. And I just pushed the car off of him. They were more concerned with me, like, what? You're pregnant. You shouldn't be doing that. Do you know I was terrified? I did not tell my husband. I told my husband years later. And he flipped on me years later. What are you talking about? Listen. The stuff that I've been through, I'm telling you, you cannot, in your limited scope of existence, feel like you have to admonish me to know how to know God. You're wasting your time. God's sitting up there chuckling at you right now. I promise to God. I promise you. He chuckling like, you see this? What you're doing is coming here with a closed mind and doubting me. You're doubting me. You're doubting my own experience that you've not walked one iota of me with. You're doubting me. Do you know at 17, go look at all my old videos. Do you know at 17, at 16, God gave me 3 prophecies starting at 16. The first one was I would have 2 sons and they would be named Donovan and Devon. I always thought the first one would be Devon and the second one would be Donovan. But when Donovan was born and I looked at him, I said, oh, that's a Donovan. And so the first one is Donovan, the second one is Devon. God said to me at 17, you're going to get shot in the head. And at 19, you're going to raise a little girl. Not only did all the prophecies happen, they happened in the order which God gave them to me. At 17, when he showed me the image and let me feel, I felt the gunshot to the head. It happened in front of my god sister's building in the prophetic vision. And I left her house the night when I got shot and went to my friend's house and went to the club and got shot in the head. You listen, you would have to wheel and come again and be born 40 years ago to come introduce me to God. 50 years ago. I've been walking, holding God's hand, and knowing Him for myself since I was 5. When I was 9, I self diagnosed my scoliosis at 9. No one can still understand how. You think you have to introduce me to God? Nah, you couldn't possibly think that. You couldn't possibly. Thank you for Sean. I appreciate it. He said, glad you was at the right place at the right time to help that woman, Queen. Listen, not only the woman, to help the man. And here's the thing, I was terrified to go home and tell my husband. First, because I already knew that people don't believe far-fetched stories because they are so in the matrix. They only believe what sounds rational based on what was taught to them about TV and life and this and that. If I say 1 + 1 is 2, everybody be like, yup, yup, yup. But if I say, oh yeah, when I was 8 months pregnant, I pushed a car off of a man who was trapped by that car up a hill and onto the flat plane so his wife could put it in park. Y'all be like, you here? But that tells me that you still exist in doubt. You don't know God fully when you still exist in doubt because He is infinite and can do abundantly above all things. That could have been a faith test. That could have been like, oh, so I'm going to see how she's going to help these people that are in need. And this is going to be a deciding factor on how I help her later on in life. Let's see what she does when she's presented with this. Let's see what she does when she's presented with that. You know how many things I've walked through by the time I got shot? Not only did I diagnose my surgery, I then at 17 had to have surgery. Not only did I diagnose my scoliosis and had to wear a fiberglass brace my entire childhood and get laughed at. And I didn't care. I used to knuckle up and knuck if you buck, whip people tail when they used to try to come for me. Because it was what I had to do. I have no control over my curved spine. And if you thought you was gonna bully me, I wasn't the one or the two. And then even with the brace all those years, I ended up having to have surgery on my spine when I was 17. I have a metal rod in my spine for that scoliosis that I diagnosed at 9. Suppose I never diagnosed it. I might be completely disfigured and lopsided. Like, stop introducing me to God, baby. I am the definition of a faith walk. While I appreciate your feeling like you need to, you might need to reacquaint yourself and surrender and stop trying to push I know you're not trying to admonish me. What I'm saying, I know you spoke of love, but what I'm telling you is what you perceive to be love is doubt of God. When you listen to me talk, you should never doubt that I know God. Promise you. If someone's in the 12th grade and someone else is in the 4th grade, it doesn't mean the 12th grader is better. It just means they're further along in their studies. That's it. Typically that they're older and further along in their studies. They know more. This is the same thing. It's no different. You may be in your 4th grade year of knowing God. Baby, I'm post PhD. So this is what I'm trying to explain. If you walk through life listening to someone's experience and then telling them that they need to know God when they're already telling you, not only do they know God, baby. My daughter said, I got God on speed dial. My ability to speak something into existence, you would not believe. Why do you think I do the videos I do and tell people, why would you bother that woman? Why would you try to do evil against a woman who God displayed to the world that He has done so much in, through, and for? Who's that dumb? If I see a dog with 3 legs and that last, where the 4th leg is supposed to be, is a stump on a little skateboard thing, and he's scooting down the street, he got one eye, his nose got burnt, so he lost the sense of smell. And yet, when there's a whole bunch of dogs in the backyard and a man throwing a football, that dog gets it first every time next to the able-bodied dogs. You think I got to tell this dog? Now, let me tell you what a football, this is a ball. Don't do it. You're admonished, and I'm not going to call it admonishment because that seemed to bother you, and I'm not trying to say that you're admonishing, but what I'm saying is be mindful of who you're entertaining. You never know. You never know who you are entertaining. I promise you. Keep that in mind. You never know who you're entertaining. You'll be surprised. You will be surprised who you are entertaining. Be mindful of that. People are always astounded when I walk up to them and tell them something that they haven't told another soul in this whole world except God. They, first of all, they look at me like I'm not real or like I've been peeking in the back window because how do you know that? How do you know that? Because God told me. I'm gonna say one last thing, and I don't ever try to convince. When I say stuff, I'm simply talking, educating, sharing, and enlightening. I remember my daughter was at her grandmother's house, and I would go and do little things on the weekend and stuff, and I wasn't really pleased because I'm not the type of mom that's like, oh, I need to get rid of my kids so I can have my fun. That's not me. I want to be with my kids all the time. I love it. I absolutely love being that mom that's always with my kids. And so she's with her grandmother, and I go out to eat, and I don't really feel like being filling my space with other people. So I go out to eat, and then I go to see, I think it was called 21 Bridges, with our good brother, the dearly departed, oh God, Nirvana, what he named it? Van Chadwick Boseman. And so I go see 21 Bridges, and it was a remarkable movie. But for some strange reason, I'm disquieted. Hey, Willie, what's the deal, my love? He said, hey to the dopest nerd, and the nerd heard from the nosebleed seats. Hey, Willie. And I'm sitting in and the movie was fantastic, but I could not stop seeing illness on him. And I just was like, oh my God. I started feeling this kind of discomfort in my spirit. And God kept saying, I was like, God, please let my brother be okay. Let him be okay. I see what I see, God. I can't unsee it. Because when God removes the scale from your eyes, you cannot unsee what he has allowed you to see, have eyes to see. You can't unsee it. So then I go home. And when I go home, I go on Facebook and I write, went to the movies. It's still somewhere in Facebook land. You can pull it up and you'll find it. I said, went to see 21 Bridges. Great movie. However, I can't unsee sickness on my brother Chadwick Boseman. I pray that all is well. Oh, that sent Facebook into an uproar, honey. That thing went its own kind of viral, and I got cussed out by everything smoking. Oh, he ain't sick. He doing a movie role. You wishing negative. I said, what? Wishing negativity on him? When the hell do I have any friggin' record of wishing negativity on anybody? Where? You making that shit up? I said, stop projecting. I did not wish anything on him. I said, I can see illness in him because that is one of the gifts that God has bestowed upon me. I can see illness in people. And I said, I hope he's okay. I literally ended it with praying hand emoji saying, praying he's okay. This is years before anybody knew he was sick. People I had to block. I'm not even a social media blocker. I ended up having to block mad people and say, kick rocks, get the F off my channel. This is my soapbox. Go say what you want on your soapbox. Mind your business. If you don't like it, don't engage with the post. People was texting me. People was freaking calling me. People was DMing me, texting me on my phone. People was like, oh, do you see anything for me? Oh, give me the lotto numbers and all kind of foolishness. I was like, give you the lotto numbers? What do you think this is? Some kind of parlor trick? I was like, this is not a parlor trick. This is a gift from God. I didn't ask for this. So mind you now, I had to block mad people off my page. And, people was texting me and all. I had to ignore a bunch of DMs and texts. I was like, yo, what's wrong with these people? moved on with my life, went on. 2 years later, I keep hearing all these notifications. Ping, 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 ping. I said, what is that? Why am I getting all these notifications? What's happening? I go look at the notifications. I see my friend, she's probably out there watching, Michelle Barrett, Michelle B. It said, oh my God, my friend at the Dopest Nerd, and she added me, said this a while ago on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook. And I was like, what is she talking about? So I click her post, and she has a post of Chadwick Boseman sitting there in that Jackie Robinson hat on, and he was talking about I think it was a movie, Jackie Robinson, and he was emaciated. He looked very sick. And people was like, that nigga smoking crack. This nigga. And then she was like, I was like, don't do that to him. He's not smoking crack. He's sick. And my friend, and she was telling people, oh my God, at Ebony said that. And she even posted, she reposted where I had originally posted this. And it still had comments under it where people was coming at my neck because it was old. And people was like, oh, he's smoking crack. That nigga on that stuff. They was ridiculing him, making a total maku and disrespecting this amazing brother. And I was like, this is wrong. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stop doing it. He's sick. Leave him alone. Don't do it. I was so livid. I just didn't want nothing to do with social media for a while. Then all of a sudden, so I was a formally trained dancer growing up. I grew up in the arts. I wanted to be on Broadway. Like as well as I can sing, I'm even a better dancer. Well, I was. I ain't such a great dancer no more. But it's in me. If I want to, I took all kinds of dance. African dance, ballet, tap, jazz, kabuki theater, which is Japanese folk dancing, everything. Everything. Modern dance, everything. In fact, the great Ian Levanzant, beloved, that was my dance teacher growing up. Yes. Talk about that another day. And this particular day, I was inside. Something was going on, and a toad started croaking in my backyard. Now, I had owned this house for years. We ain't got no water stream right there. I never heard a crow. This total rabbit. All night. It was so loud. I called my aunt. I said, God, Tanty Jan, a frog is croaking in my backyard. She said, what? That is that. That is that. I said, what? She said, Mop, you need to wash out your house. She said, mop down your house. She told me what to get. And she said, when you mop down your house, do not throw the water around your property. Do not flush it into your toilet. Go drive somewhere and throw the water over a bush. And I said, okay. So while I was mopping down the house, this presence of mine, God came into my mind and said, what was the name of that play? Vana, she went in the shower. Vana? I forgot the name of the play. Let me Google the name because I want to get it right. I want to get it right. It just slipped my mind. I was reading one of y'all comments and it just threw my mind. Hold on one second. Okay. So Nirvana's upstairs in her room and I'm downstairs and I moved all the furniture, took all the extra stuff out my living room, everything in my family room, the whole downstairs area. My aunt said, mop it with this. I mopped it down. While I was mopping, God came to me and said, say Ma Rainey's Black Bottom 3 times. And I was like, what? And I've learned when you walk with God, you learn to not question God. That is how you make your full ascension. You don't question God. So I just said, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And then the second and the third one, I screamed it. I said, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And Nirvana came over I have a breezeway overhang, and she came in the hallway and looked over and was like, what? What are you talking about? What did you say? And I was like, I said, God just told me to say Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And she was like, what's that? I said, it's a play that was out in New York off Broadway years ago when I was a teenager. When I was 13 or 14, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom was a play in New York, in off Broadway, not on Broadway, but off Broadway. Um, and God told me to scream it out 3 times while I was mopping the floor. So I'm mopping the floor. I scream it out. Nirvana was like, what does that mean? I said, I don't know why God told me to say that. I had no clue. Nirvana comes probably 10 minutes later, maybe 15 minutes later. She comes to the terrace. She's like, Mommy. And I'm like, what? She said, Mommy, Chadwick Boseman just died. And I said, what? I said, oh no, oh no. And then I turned on my TV to look at it. When I turned the TV on downstairs, the reporter is saying, we regret to inform you Chadwick Boseman has passed away at, I think he might have been 46 or something like that. Whatever age he passed away. She started saying he was most widely known as T'Challa in Black Panther, Wakanda series. And she's going all this. And she said, he's done countless enemies, countless movies, Jackie Robinson. And then she says, his final yet to be released project is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Nirvana looked at me. I was like, oh. And I'm asking myself, why did you visit that to me, God? Why did you tell me? But see, that was the completing of when you have a prophetic gift, God will use you. The only way that you know prophecy is real is that someone has to mention it. The prophet has to say it out loud for the masses. Because if you don't say it in advance, everybody swear you're lying. I said what God told me to say, and so help me God, the world attacked me. You know what they had to do when he passed away? They friggin' circled the block like crazy. Oh my God, you said that. You said years ago you saw he was sick. You said it. How did you know? Do you see anything on me? All this stuff. I keep telling y'all, that if you really want to know God, baby, it ain't comfortable. It ain't comfortable. It's not wrapped up in a neat bow. I read my Bible, I read 3 scriptures a day, and I walk outside, drink my water. You think it's simple like that? No. Mm-mm. See, that's all neat and cute. Mm-mm. The only reason people know that I'm a prophet, the only reason people knew the people of the Bible had a prophetic gift is because they came and told of and listen, go read your Bible. The people in the Bible didn't come and say, I see a new car for you and I see a new house for you. No, that is not the gift of prophecy, my dear. They came and told you, you're going to lose your child or you will be called to make a great sacrifice. Listen, it wasn't all bubblegum and cutesies. No. I will be minding my business in the supermarket, shopping for groceries, talking to my daughter. God will say, you see that lady in the red shirt? Go over there and tell her to go have her breast examined. I'll be like, Father God, can I please? What? Why? Do you know the level of surrender that has to exist in you? To walk up to a stranger in the supermarket. Do you know how much getting before God, laying prostrate, opening your arms and getting down and on that with your face to the ground and talking to God and getting to know him and understanding your anointing and your gift? Do you know what it takes to walk up to a stranger in the supermarket and say, "Hi dear, how are you? I don't mean to disturb you, ma'am. God asked me to give you a word. Do you mind if I share it with you?" And they're like, because people always do this when you say, God told me to give you a word. Because we're so jaded in this world. A simple statement, a kind statement like, God asked me to give you a word. They look, huh? What? Some people be like, now. But every now and then people are like, yes, share it with me. God asked you to tell me something, share it with me. And then I say, I know this may sound, and they say, come on, baby, give it to me. God using you as a vessel, stay out the way. And I'm like, okay, God asked me to tell you to go have your breast examined. Okay? You think that's easy? You think that's easy? There are times, if you look on my Facebook, You will see every so often I will post initials. You will see that every so often I will post initials. I don't even say the name no more because of how nasty people got with that Chadwick Boseman thing. I was like, while I am gifted by God to be a worthy vessel, I'm still the flesh. And I don't want to have to knock if I buck, if they buck. And I should not even dull down God's blessing and gift like that to make people, to make it more palatable for me. I shouldn't do that. God gives me instruction. I should give it exactly. But I put initials. Go back and look at my initials. You know how many times I've put initials on there and then the person passed away? I remember there was one time I had 3 sets of initials. I had, what was her name? That was in the movie with Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Fred, Red Fox, all of them. Della Reese. I put Della Reese. I put, go look at the initials. One of them didn't pass, but 2 of them did. The third one ended up in this big negative media thing. He didn't pass away, but he ended up in this big media thing. That was Della Reese, Shia LaBeouf, and I forget who the other set of initials were. Della Reese passed away. Look at the timing. Look at my posting of the initials and how soon after she passed away. I've done it for lots of people. I was getting ready to go on Facebook today, and the only reason I go on Facebook and post it is to memorialize it so that people don't be like, "Oh, you just saying that now?" Because no, then people be like, "I'll put the person's initials, and then I'll put like that heat, that forehead, like, oh my gosh." Because somebody has been coming up in my spirit like crazy lately. It doesn't mean that she's gonna pass away, but I know something prominent is going to happen with her. And I know it has to because she's not somebody I think about regularly. She's not somebody that this is a person that was a celebrity and they're not even popular like that anymore. And not taking anything away from her, she was of a time and that time has passed. But she keeps raising up in my spirit. I would say probably the past 5 days. And so I'm going to memorialize it here, not because I got nothing to prove to y'all, but because I didn't go on Facebook and post it. But she keeps raising up in my spirit. And I'm telling you, something is going to, I don't wish any, and let me preface it by saying, I don't wish death on anyone. That's not me. I don't get down like that. And it is not my place to say. When I was entrusted by my husband when he asked me if he is incapacitated, he wants me to make the decision if he lives or die, but he wants me to fight for his life. I fought for his life. They tried to get me to take him off. I said, absolutely not. I am not El Shaddai. I am not El Elyon. I am not Emmanuel. I am not Jehovah Nissi, Jehovah Rofika, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Shalom. I am not Yahweh. I am not God, and I am not going to step into that role. God has the ability to snap any one of us out of here at a moment's notice, you or me. I would not dare take that under my control. I said, when God is ready to take him home, when God walks up to his spirit and says, come home, good and faithful servant, job well done, he will go. I won't do it, and you can't make me, and I won't. And you better take care of him. You hear? Let a fly pitch on him. Your mama gonna be sorry. So let me preface it by saying I am not wishing anything onto her. But for the last 5 days, Deborah Cox has been coming into my spirit like crazy. Deborah Cox and how did you get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. Like crazy. And I'm like, why is random Deborah Cox from Canada. Why is she coming to my spirit like this? For the last 5 days, over and over and over and over and over. I was just like, oh my God, I hope she's okay. I hope everything is okay with her. But I have to say it because if I don't say it, how does anybody know that prophecy is real if prophets don't speak prophetic words? How do you know? Because the world is full of unbelievers. The world is full of unbelievers. People have a spirit of unbelief. They love to not, who she thinks she is? People love to do that. The Bible said God is no respecter of person. The reason y'all can't believe because y'all a respecter of person. Y'all have a hierarchy of who's important, who's not, who's worthy, who's not, who's valuable, who's not, who's good, who's not. Y'all do that. That's the world, not me. Not me. Because I know God does not call the qualified, He qualifies the called. That is why there is a video. I know the video is probably about 5 or 6 years old now. There was a unhoused gentleman. Some of y'all might say homeless. He was at the gas station. You don't even see the person who was in the car filming him. But when I tell you that homeless man gave a word, y'all seen the video. That video is more than viral. He gave a word, baby. How many people expect to get a word that a self-fulfilling prophecy word that would change the trajectory of their life from him? Because he looked like a homeless, maybe you would say he's a wino at the gas station. That man, honey, God was speaking through that man. And anybody who doubted it is a fool. It's out there on social media. You can pull it up. Pull up homeless man at the gas station. I don't know if it's listed like that, but baby, y'all done seen the video. Gifted, anointed, gave a whole entire word. Anybody who heard that man's video and passed, scrolled through it, or didn't listen to the whole thing, or disavowed it, you're crazy. That was God speaking to you. God speaking through an individual, which He is fully possible and capable of doing. He is the Alpha and the Omega. He is the great I am. He's capable. But people love to doubt. We live in a world of, that's not what that means. She ain't all that. That's not what that. Like Keisha said, when God gives a word, you have to do it. I have a mother with a gift. People side eye me, questioning how is it possible, shaking my head. Listen, you don't got no choice. I told you the first time I gave a big prophetic word to someone, it was a man. God said, God let me feel his energy when he walked in the building. I didn't even see him coming. I've told y'all the story. I'm not going to go over it again. I I made the mistake of not completing what God told me to tell him because I realized after the first two prophecies I gave him, God told me to tell him three things. I told him the two, and then somebody came out while we were speaking that we both knew. It was like, "Hey, Reverend," and I was like, "Reverend," and I jumped back because I felt like, who am I to be prophesying to a reverend? But I have to remember, God is no respecter of person. And so it doesn't matter that I was a lay person and he was a reverend. God will use anyone to give a word. God will use anyone to give a word. Y'all be missing y'all blessings because y'all looking for your word to come from the good pastor and you're not listening to the guy at the gas station. When that might be, you might be entertaining Yeshua. They said he coming again, didn't they? But y'all would look past, somebody would say, "Sir, could you spare a dime? You need to go get a job. Pull yourself up by the boots on the ground." Y'all would totally disavow. You might be entertaining an angel or Yeshua himself, the Christ of Nazareth, the blood of Yeshua. But y'all looking for it to come from a shiny three-piece double-breasted suit wearing individual that hoofs it, and I'll say you, and when I'll say you, and when I say, and it's not probably coming from him at all. Y'all be bypassing the gifts God send y'all because they're not dressed to your liking and satisfaction. Cindy Bowley Harris said, "If God ever gives you a word for me, please feel free to share it, and I will accept it with a thankful heart for the word and the one God chose to use. Anyone should feel the same." Thank you, my love. I appreciate it. Oh, absolutely. I've learned. I don't get in the way of nobody. Somebody had to scream on me and tell me, it ain't your, get out your own way. It ain't about you. You are God's vessel. Let him use you. I got scrimped on. I told y'all that story before by a pastor. Scrimped on me. And I had to take it. I had to because my spirit was convicted. I was God. The Bible says God is no respecter of person. But when God gave me a prophecy, three things to tell this man, I told him two. And when the person interjected and said, "Hey, Rev," I clammed up when I heard that this man was a reverend. I was like, I can't be prophesying to no reverend because I was a spiritual infant. I was in my kingdom journey. I was a spiritual infant walking in my prophetic anointing. And so I foolishly believed that I was not equipped or qualified to prophesy to a reverend, not just a street corner, a reverend with a whole church and a whole flock of people that he was the shepherd for. He was the head of the house of that church. He was a shepherd for this entire group of people. Thank you. Miss Lady T said, my sister, thank you for always being positive and speaking life and encouraging others. You are the bomb. Thank you so much, my love. I appreciate it. Thank you. And listen, you guys are the same way. You guys are the same way. Because guess what? It ain't just about me. You have to have that in you to be here. There's lots of people that will pass by the channel, listen to me and be like, child, please, I ain't got time for this, and walk away. But they'll be watching, they'll watch the whole, twerking by the bread, twerking by the bread, twerking by the milk, twerking by the butter, that whole video multiple times. They'll stop by here, hear me, be like, child, ain't nobody got time for that. Michelle said it should not matter what a person wears, and unfortunately, people judge. Asheo, yes, they do. People, it's called what I always say here, respectability politics. People think you are a worthy vessel if you look according to what their own mental projections dictate is worthy. They will see a woman in some tight leggings with too much jiggly booty and maybe her navel showing with a little crop top, and she might give them a word, and they be like, "Girl, don't cover up your behind and put some clothes. I ain't nobody got time to hear all that." And she might be the called that God called and chose to send you your blessing. You know how many of y'all done missed your blessing millions of times because of the vessel that delivered it? Because the vessel and the manner in which it was delivered? Think about it. We all got somebody that you've thought about in your life and said, who child, if I only listened to that lady that time. It could have been an old lady, you walking on the block. She see you every day walking back and forth, chasing behind this little nappy head boy talking junk. And baby, I ain't judging because I'm happy to be nappy. Let that be known right here. But I'm talking about a little scoundrel you running behind because you love him and you think he gonna be your forever. And she said, nah, baby, if you got to chase it, it ain't worth it. You better start learning to wait till you're attracted. Don't chase. And you sitting there like, who this old lady talking to? She knows it. She always in my business. That might be Yeshua speaking through this lady, sending you your blessing, protecting you from something. You don't listen. You keep chasing him. Then you get caught up in there. You have a baby, first baby, yeah, second baby, third baby. Me and Nirvana just watched just a little while ago, a man and his wife arguing on Facebook Live the other day. I'm not talking about a chick he kicking with. I'm not talking about his baby mama, his wife. They arguing on Facebook Live. Do you know he unalived her in that live stream on Facebook Live? I guarantee you she wouldn't have kept arguing if she thought the possibility of that existed. Not only would she not keep arguing, she probably wouldn't have married him if she thought there was any capability of this man harming her. He unalived his wife. They have 2 children. He unalived his wife who gave him 2 children, who carried forth his destiny in her womb and in her car and ran away. And when the cops put out an APB out on him and they found him, pow pow, and took his self out and left his children over a friggin' argument on Facebook. Really? 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 Now, mind you, I'm sure there was an old lady in her life that said, baby, don't be chasing. That ain't for you. Leave that alone. And she was like, mind your business. Don't be hating. Or he was with some chick that he cheated on because they said he was cheating. He cheated on with some chick, and some chick called him, was like, you think he all that because you got him? He ain't all that. You need to leave him. And she was like, you think I'm going to leave him so you could get him? And then he unalived her not that long after. So really, was it a prize? Would you not have rather relinquished it? You know what they said she said on live right before he unalived her? He picked up a knife and was at her like this. He said, and she was like, what you about to do? You about to stab me over this? And he was like, stab you? I'm about to unalive you, girl. And she said, I got to die about this? And she still was like, I got to die about this, thinking he wasn't going to do it. That man on Facebook Live. So, you know, People got all these utterances of who they think, who, what, when, where, how, why that they think. I don't think I know more than you. I'm simply telling you. For Sean Matthews said, exactly, judging. I have learned to listen and have compassion for others. Not only, first of all, asheo, but not just compassion, knowing that you might be entertaining God. You might be entertaining Yeshua, Jesus, the Christ of Nazareth. You might be entertaining an angel, an archangel sent to be your guide. Lisa Bruno said, Natanya, I've been meaning to mention this. A few lives ago, you came on and said, check on your friends. Well, I checked on my best friend, my sister, and she was in the hospital. She had congestive heart. Where's the other rest of it? Let me see. She had congestive heart. Oh, she had congestive heart failure, and now her heart is now working at 5 to 10%. I got such a chill because you said check on your friends, and thank God I did. She downsizes her health, so I don't worry. Oh, first of all, glory to God in the highest, and peace to his people on earth. I pray that God is a balm in Gilead and breathe life into her weary bones, his breath of life like only he can, and says, get up, pick up your mat and walk, and restores her to the fullness. And ultimately, we are not to fear death because it is not the end, it is just the beginning of another journey. And if it is God's will, if it is God's will, and she has lived out her purpose here on this earth, he will welcome her home, saying, good and faithful servant. It should not, you should not be weary in well doing, because at least she knows that her friends, she is not far from the minds of those who love her. And that is far more important than anything. Because, see, before she was suffering, and she probably was wallowing in, nobody's checking on me, nobody cares about me. And then you came out of the blue and said, hey, boo, how you doing? And she was like, oh my God, see, I loved my friend and she really loved me back. You know how much more that means? Do you know what the value of that is? To know you are not alone and someone has you in their mind and heart and spirit and checked on you? That's everything. That's everything. That's half the battle, boo. So congratulations and shout out to you for checking on her. And shout out to her for fighting that good fight. I know that congestive heart failure fight because my husband, that was a stage of what he went through. Typically, that's all related to kidney disease. My husband went through that. K-Lig said, why would it ever be that serious? And how many red flags do you need? Baby, you gonna tell me that this ninja who pulled a knife on her on live didn't give no other red flags, baby? He looked like he is the NASCAR checker flag race. Red flag. If it was a carnival of nothing but red flags, it'd be him. But people always feel like, I hear women say, I've heard women say in a relationship where the man is so horrible, and they be like, he cheating on me with this, but I ain't leaving so she could get my good life. Oh, once he abandoned the covenant bond he made with you, boo, you ain't holding on to nothing. You might be sleeping with the enemy that's going to end up taking your life and sending you on to glory. Lisa Bruno said, at Michelle, we hadn't spoken in about 5 days when Natanya came on. She said, check on your friends. And thank God I did. To God be the glory, Lisa. Here's the thing. Simply, God gave me a message, a word, and I gave it to you guys. And you took it up. You didn't have to. You know how many people watched that live and didn't call and check on anybody? Or may possibly have. But it touched your spirit. And you said, let me check on my friend. And to God be the glory. This woman knows that someone cares for her in her time of grief, that her friend loves, honors their friendship, and cares for her, and was so concerned that she reached out in your time of grief. You know what that does for her healing? You know what that did for her body? You heard 5 to 10%. Now you gonna come back and they gonna say she had 30%, God willing. Right Sound Studio said 18 minutes behind. You have a gift, girl. Bozeman. Which Bozeman? My homie? Too much truth? Fashawn said, I would be giving them the gift of goodbye so fast. Asheo. Because I'm gonna tell you something, baby. You know how many people listen, we got a lot of things. I say things, Lisa said we are both turning 55 this year. Her birthday is in August, I'm in October. And you know, I just turned 55 in June. To God be the glory. 55 is an amazing year. And Fashawn said, oh, Kaylig said, running away. Running, baby. I'm talking not just any running, honey. Flojo. Long fingernails, one arm in, one leg out. Out of here. You hear me? But I know lots of people holding on because they feel like, oh, I'd rather have half a man than none. They're so concerned with societal stigmas of when you gonna get married, girl. You know how it is. You go to the family Thanksgiving and you got an auntie up in there. She over there gaslighting people. Talk about you still ain't married. Ain't nobody found you and made you an honest woman. Who created that? Of course, no man is an island. We are not monolithic. Everybody wants a partner. Everybody wants love. Everybody wants a husband or a wife. But my God, I'm not blaming our elders, but they didn't know no better because they were gaslit into the notion that if you have not found a relationship yet, no one has made you an honest woman. How do I refrain from being honest? Because I did not settle down and marry someone who God has not ordained for me and not chosen and selected for me. Or I did not stay with a philandering, cheating boyfriend who may hurt me and speaks out of pocket to me and doesn't display the same level of respect in public that, in behind closed doors that he does in public. I'm not keeping up no facades because it sounds good. And who said today's their birthday? Your birthday is today for Sean? Hey, happy birthday, yeah, my friend. One more year upon them. Hey, happy birthday, my love. Happy solar return. Big up yourself for your 54 years. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Listen, this is what we're supposed to come and do. You know, I love YouTube. I love, I have a love and hate relationship with social media. Y'all throw some love in the chat for our birthday. Hold on. Throw some love in the chat for Fashawn. Everybody, everybody, birthday wishes, solar return, happy solar return. Let's give love, nerd herd. Let's give love. There, I have a love hate relationship with social media, and I told you guys why. Because before there was a thing called social media, I was exploited for my grief, my pain, and my trauma by the media. I also have a love hate relationship with it because when social media began and the story would hit anniversary marks, people would come up and say stupid things. I remember it was the 15-year. This is how time flies. This is when social media was this was 20 about 2011, 2012, kind of one of them 2 years. It was the 15-year and or possibly like or around that 15-year anniversary. It was the 15-year anniversary. So maybe it was 2014, 2015. But it was the 15-year anniversary of the shooting. This, I don't even know if this YouTube IG page still exists. It was called Up North, Up North Trips or Up North Hip Hop or something like that. And they posted, just like Sonny Williams talked about, they had J Lo and Puffy on the front cover of the Daily News. And they posted it and said, oh, shout out to Sean Puffy Combs and Jennifer Lopez for the traumatic experience they endured 15 years ago, December 27th. They had to go through a traumatic experience. I said, I was laying on my bed. I had cleaned my room that day, took all my sheets off, and it was airing out my bed and just, laying, relaxing in my bed, luxuriating. And laid across my bed, fell asleep, woke up, had my phone, and was like, oh, let me see what's on social media, and looked on social media and see this shit. I wrote, what? Shout out to them. I said, I went off. I went off. I said, how dare you? People were injured. People were shot. I am the woman who was shot in the face, and you worried about them going through a traumatic event? Here come Puffy's trolls coming out. Oh, are you supposed to be able to talk about it out loud? Aren't you supposed to have what they said? You're supposed to have a NDA. I said, F your NDA. F your NDA. I said, don't tell me what I could talk about. This is my story. They tried to gaslight me into silence. They never could. They always knew I'd be a problem. They always knew because I never stopped talking about it. I said, Puffy shot me in my face. And you talking about shout out to him for the traumatic thing he had to go through. I went off. Now, mind you, I was relatively new to social media. I didn't pop on. I was on Facebook only because my school had a reunion in the early days, and that's how they planned the reunion. And that was the base where you got all the information about the reunion, and you had to join this group. And so that's why I was on Facebook in relatively early days. But outside, like '09, '08, I think '08. Outside of that, I wasn't all those other sites. No, I wasn't on all of those because it just wasn't my thing. Baby, finished cleaning my room, made dinner, dressed my bed and everything, and finished fixing up everything I had taken apart in the house, put the vacuum and everything away, and did all this stuff. Went to sleep, wake up. My son called me early. Ma, what did you do? I was like, what? He's like, you going viral. I said, what is that? I didn't go nowhere. I'm in the house. He's like, Ma, you viral. I said, what does that mean? He's like, oh my God, did you say something online? I was like, yes. He was like, Mommy, don't say nothing don't answer none of these people. This thing went ballistic viral. A few years ago, when this Cassie lawsuit and all this thing started happening, there's people that go back in the internet and look for old posts and be commenting. All of a sudden, I start getting all these notifications, people liking me on that post. And so somebody went into the Up North Trips people, and was like, yeah, nigga, this post aged poorly, and was laughing at them. And then I went in there and I was like, I was saying a couple of things. And I went down the list of all the people like, oh, she jealous, she's a hater, she did. And I went and tore their ass up. Tore they asses up. I said, NDA this, ninja. Oh yeah, listen, as much as I'm a woman of God, baby, I'm still flesh. God is working on me. I tore their asses up. Because the flesh in me still has a desire for my justice. I'm entitled. I'm entitled. The spirit in me knows that God got me, and he ain't bring me this far to just bring me this far to leave me here. But the flesh in me, yeah, I'm going to get my lick back. God is working on me. Someday I may overcome it. Perhaps I won't. I'm not perfect. And while I aspire to be as good as God will have me be, this is what a TI is. This is what a TI is. And I ain't going to be ashamed of it because I'm entitled. I ain't got time for people saying mean things. People come on my page. Y'all don't understand. That's why when I said that I understand Locke's need for her peace, and I relinquished the ties that bind and let her go to return to her homeostasis and her life of peace, I can offer that level of grace and mercy because I have lived for 25 years. And since the advent of social media, people been trying to come at me like a mug. And trust me, Puffy spends money for his minions to come out on the internet and say all kinds of stuff. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. I don't have time for it. What's this I see? Somebody said, let me see. Happy birthday, yeah, my friend. Melanie King, have your lawyers contact JLo's PR people. Melanie King? Is this Melanie King, the attorney that has like a YouTube channel? Have your lawyers contacted JLo's PR people? I'm please expound on your question. What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm seeking clarification. Here's to another year of making wonderful memories with people you love and who loves you. Prashana said, me too, Michelle. I run from any mean-spirited people and I cry too. Listen, as you should. I keep telling people, tears are purification for the soul. Cry, baby, get it out. Because here's what. Anything that causes dis-ease in your spirit, if you don't get it out of your body, it will cause disease in your flesh, in your body, in your mind. That's why I'm so healthy. Because I collect and gather people. You step out of line with me, I'm going to collect and gather you, tell you like your TI is, and then 10 minutes later, I'm like, yo, what y'all want to do? We going out to eat or something? Or what? I don't hold grudges. I tell you like it is in that moment. I address it in that moment. I don't fear confrontation or anything. Confrontation doesn't mean an argument. It means we're going to talk this through. You might not like the words that I use, but we're going to talk this through. Since you felt the need to say it and you was comfortable, we're going to talk it through. And if you triggered and you upset, well, a hit dog gonna holler, and so it shall be. But I don't have the time to, you know, act. K-Lig said, don't forget the super chats, nerd herd. Asheo. Guys, you know what we do around here. We call it tithes and offering. Thank you for the super chat, K-Lig. I love you, my sis. I love you so much. Don't forget the super chats, guys. Around here, we call it our tithe offerings. By all means, support the channel. We're giving you good information. Because I ain't no shade, but I be seeing y'all over there in the Scallywag channels throwing your coins and your shekels all over the place, supporting tomfoolery and whatever you listen. It's your money, you work for it, you're entitled to. But give a little over here where you're getting the good thing now, where you're getting that good spiritual food. Drop a few shekels in the pot now. I'm sending the collection plate around, guys. Drop a few shekels in there if you're so inspired. And here's the deal. Melanie King said, just curious if they have tried to talk some sense into her. So here's the thing. I don't anticipate that her PR team works for her. So I couldn't imagine that someone's PR team is trying to talk sense into them, especially if they haven't exhibited sense in 25 years. I'm not worried about them talking sense into her. I know God is going to give me my recompense and she gonna pay for the crimes that she ain't nothing good gonna come to her till she do right by me. And she has committed crimes against me. Crimes. And God ain't gonna let me leave this earth before I get my recompense. So it would be incumbent upon her to talk some sense into herself and to do what she know is right. Because she gonna run them shekels one way or another. Okay? She is. And like they always say, what they said Harriet Tubman used to say to the enslaved people that she was trying to usher to freedom, you need to free yourself. But she didn't have no time to be playing with people that was like, oh, I don't know. You think we should? Huh? It takes bold people. God has empowered some people to be bold, to cry aloud and spare not. Harriet Tubman, aka Araminta Ross, said, get down or lay down. Okay? Get down or lay down, but you ain't gonna hold the rest of us back. She famously said, I freed a lot of enslaved people in my years. I would have freed thousands more if only they knew they were enslaved. That means some people think they free already. They ain't running nowhere. They think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And here the thing be broken into 7 million little pieces, okay? They think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it be shattered. Shout out to Miss Cindy for the super sticker. Thank you for the $10 super sticker, my love. Thank you for your support of the Dopest Nerd channel. We appreciate you wholeheartedly. I appreciate you ever so much. Shout out to Melanie King. I feel you, sending good vibes and hugs to you. So Melanie King, the attorney with the YouTube channel? And do you in any way represent J-Lo? Are you affiliated? Sh- why is this doing this to me? Why is it not letting me highlight the... What am I missing? Shout out to Keisha. I'm trying to put your thing on the screen, Keisha, but it's not letting me. Shout out to Keisha for the super sticker. Well, every time I figure out how to do something new on this phone, something else happens. Okay, let's see. Oh, there we go. Shout out to Keisha. Shout out to Keisha for the $2 super chat. She said, "Let me hold $1. Now you got two. Hey, love you. Thank you, my sister. I love you so much, boo. Ain't no party if you ain't got a Keisha in the house. Don't even try to have a party without a Keisha. In fact, if you go to a party and you say, uh, you're a producer? Melanie said, no, but I am a producer though. Where are you a producer of? Welcome. Thank you for coming here. Tell me about your production. What is it that you produce, my love? Michelle said, I love Harriet Tubman. Me too, baby. I always tell people the spirit that runs in me, I'm certain I have the ancestry of Denmark Vesey, Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, and all of the freedom fighters who pushed through, and the nameless, faceless ones that pushed through, were radicalized, were willing to fight against the oppressor and change the status quo, and did not cowtail, soft shoe, step and fetch it, nothing. The divergents who pushed back, fought back, cried aloud and spare not, spoke their mind, and didn't care who said what. If it ain't come from God, I don't want to hear it. For Sean said, I watch your channel too. Ashayo. You know, listen, it's one thing for me to be able to give this information. It's a whole nother thing for you to be receptive to it. There's a lot of people who would pass by here and be like, child, I ain't got time for this. Melanie King. My husband wrote the game, The Net, Terminator, working on several projects, including one I am pitching to Halle Berry and Jason Baldoni. Oh, Justin Baldoni, excuse me. Love your story and hearing you sing. Well, thank you, my love. We should continue to talk. I would absolutely be interested in possibly working with you guys because I have a project that I want to complete. I've been trying to complete it for years, and Sean Puffy Combs did everything he could over the last, I would say, maybe 8 or 9 years to slap my project down. Every producer that we got with was afraid to do it once they heard that it was my story was connected to what Puffy did to me, shooting me in my face. And so now that he has been constrained by the handcuffs of the Most High God and sat down, I would love to be able to push forward because trust me, the story I have to tell is an amazing story and it is going to benefit a ton of people in this world. I'm absolutely excited. The channel email is the dopestnerd@gmail.com, the with an A. Please reach out to me so that we could exchange information and be able to explore. Shout out to Lisa. Hold on one second. Every time I figure out how to do something. Okay. I'm trying to post your super chat, Lisa. Okay, now I can do it. Shout out to Lisa Bruno for the $5 super chat. Dopest platform on the YouTube. Thank you, Natanya. Hey, yes, Lisa. Clock that. Tell a friend or 10 or 1,000. Tell all your coworkers. Tell your boss. Tell everybody. Tell them to like, share, subscribe, follow. Join the membership if they feel so inclined. Support the channel. You get, I give y'all spiritual food. You could call me the chef. I'm serving up dishes of spiritual food, of that good talk. You know, and there's nothing wrong with having your, we all have our times where we watch a little rat shade TV, Me more or less than others now. I'm more of a documentary girl. Like I will watch every documentary known to mankind. I watch movies as well. Fashawn said, God will open doors for you, Queen. I say, clock that. I say, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And he has. He's continually opened doors for me. And let me tell you something. It's all about perspective. God opens doors for people where they least expect it. Because let me tell you something. I'm actually an author. I have two books out. I have a book out right now. If my mod was here, you would see the link in the chat. But if you look on any of the other videos, the link will be in the chat. But I will post the link to the book in the community tab. I have a book. Both books can be accessed on Amazon. One is called Oh God, Shot in the Dark, a shot in the dark, and another one is a children's book, and it's called Nirvana Socks, the Nirvana Chronicles. So please, by all means, I have a few more children's book coming out. Actually, I have three I wrote. I'm just waiting for illustration, and I will be releasing them. One is called Handy Hammy Gets It Done. It's about my nephew, and one is about my granddaughter. Oh my gosh! It's called Little Kennedy Rubin. What are you doing? It's a magnificent, it's a magnificent book, and I can't wait for you to see my new children's books. Grab one or two or 10, grab a bunch of books and give them out as Christmas gifts to children that you know. We have to start giving our children erstwhile things instead of materialistic things that have a short shelf life and will end up in the trash in no time. Y'all know I'm not saying don't buy kids toys because kids also learn through playing. But I'm saying like if you're buying 10 toys, you know half them toys is in the trash by February, March the latest. They broken up, pieces missing, all of the games got pieces missing. Like let's keep it a buck. Buy a book. Buy a book. When I was the type of mother, whenever I went somewhere with my kids, I always had a little bag. I could keep it in a car, whatever. I always had books in it. I had little puzzles. I had the little etch a sketch. I had my son loved cars. My middle son, he loved cars. I had cars in it. So we gonna minimize you always thinking, can I? And then you're not gonna be bugging me every 10 minutes, like, oh mommy, this, oh mommy, no, mommy, I'm bored. I'm because you got a whole activity center in the backseat. You get to dip your hand in that bag and discover something new. I also did boxes where you could you get I would buy little things over the years, books, this, that, there, stick it in that box. You do something good, you get to go in the box and get a treat. You earn the right to go in that box and get something. It's a lovely thing to open a chest and be like, oh, what do I want? I'm gonna take this book. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this. Come on, we gotta get creative. We gotta get creative. But I really want to do this. I have lots of things I want to do because these are things that God has moved me and put on my heart, and I know they will be a blessing. I know they will be a blessing to people. Thank you so much. I have a publishing imprint. It's called Mrs. Wright Publishing. I self-publish my own book. So if you have a project that you would like to publish, by all means, reach out to me. I can publish your book. And I do have a book coming out, but I want to wait till this trial is over so I can write my book. I need that completion. He was convicted on blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I have books. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Fashawn said, I'm going to get your books. I didn't know. I love reading. Why, thank you. Reading is fundamental. I love reading as well. You get to travel. You get to travel all over just from books. Miss Lady T said, look, family, please, careful traveling down south, certain parts. Been hearing they are harming our people. Really? Where about? Where'd you read this? Cite your sources. Tell us. And what's happening? Let's report it. Let's share it. Keep our family safe. Oh my. I didn't hear that. I've been up here with y'all. Oh, Kaylig said, my little ones loves Nirvana socks. Thank you. It's about a precocious little 8-year-old girl who has an obsession with socks, and she has a favorite pair of socks, one of which gets lost in the dryer, and it is a journey into where the socks that get lost in the dryer and end up missing go to. It is a phenomenal tale. All of us have had a favorite pair of socks, and one has gone missing in the dryer. They have to be going somewhere. Trust me, you'll love this. Oh, Michelle said, we love and appreciate you, Natanya. I love and appreciate y'all. This is, let me tell you something. This is mutually beneficial, baby. I can't do it without y'all. I could sit here on YouTube and talk till I'm blue in the face. But if ain't nobody listening, I mean, I could still talk, but Taylor House Publishing, is there a first comment to this? TBZ Treasure Box. Right, sounds caught up to live. These sound like a great gift. I have to buy a couple for the grandbaby. Absolutely, you're gonna love it. Thank you, Keisha. Keisha said, these sound like a great gift. I have to buy a couple for the grandbaby. I promise you, you'll love the book. I promise you. I love kids. And so it is very easy for me to express myself for children. It's super easy for me. And I really love it. And these are conversations and things I thought. What happens to all the socks that go missing in the dryer? They have to go somewhere. What you'll discover in Nirvana socks, without me giving it away, is they serve a purpose. And so absolutely explore that with your grandbabies. It's a fun, it says yes, T Breezy said yes, Taylor House Publishing covers it. Taylor House Publishing, the gentleman with the he has an afro and he wears braids sometimes. I think I've watched his channel. I like him. Willie Gross said, appreciate you and all you do with help ushering in paradise. Aw, thank you so much. What an amazing guys. I love you guys. I absolutely, you guys are amazing for the spirit. I promise you. I promise you. You said people being hung brutally and police brutality. Oh my gosh. Let me tell y'all something. So help me God. So, as many of you know, and some of you may not know, Keisha said, I always wonder where my children's socks disappeared to. Child, get the book. You'll find out where they go and the purpose that they serve. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. So, let me look back at these comments because I was going to say something and I lost my train of thought. Mm, man, I'm sorry, guys. I lost my train of thought. I was saying something and it just, the point I was going to make. But yes, I want our people to be very careful because they have a desire to join the I Killed a Black Person Club, and there's only way to join it. There's only one way to join it, to actually do it. They're bloodthirsty. They have a bloodthirsty hunger, and people that can't stand your liberation and your freedom will always try to celebrate your demise. When they can't stand the fact that you are living life, drinking water, minding your business, and not being caught up in the fray, you're not out there putting your body and your flesh on the front line to be able to be mowed down for the benefit of somebody else's cause who would not do the same in return for you, they get upset. When they see your level of restraint, they get upset. See, they thought we were just emotional people, that we would jump up and jump out, and always on the front line, and then they could have a reason to usher in martial law. They are doing a lot to provoke us. Do not fall for the okey doke of so much of what's going on. It is okey doke. First of all, a lot of those videos that you'll see where you'll see a Latino person saying, F you black people, y'all ain't nothing, blah, 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 and y'all, blah, blah, blah." A lot of that is AI. Do not believe it. They are trying to provoke and gaslight us. And while a lot of it may be real, there's a lot of videos out here that's AI. And what's happening is, especially older people in our age bracket and demographic may not understand that a lot of these things are AI. What they're trying to do is pit one against the other. These are their old tactics that they've been doing. Crates of Junior said, what's up, nerd fam? I'm sitting here at home in the AC enjoying dinner with some soul music playing in the background. Thanks for the inspiring thoughts as always, Natanya. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And that sounds cool. Sitting there eating some luxuriating T Breezy said introvert rockstar covers it too. Hold on. I definitely gotta get my when I tell you they have hacked me out of my computer, but I definitely have to get my back access to my camera and my mic, because this has been an exercise in futility. I'm making it happen, but it is tough to try to navigate it this way through the phone because it's so small. All right, let's see. Let me get to the last comment and then go back up. TBC said, why is it not letting me get to what's happening? Ghetto Heat TV said, okay, I will do this again because I did say hello to everyone and no one responded. Hello, everybody. Peace. And Ghetto Heat, where's at lock? She's always says hi to me. Anyways, LOL, Ghetto Heat. Hi, Ghetto Heat. I don't think anybody was ignoring you, my love. I think everybody was engaged in all the discussion. How you doing? Welcome, my love. And yeah, Locked, unfortunately, has stepped away from her mod duties because she felt like people were bullying her on the internet. And she said it was taking away her peace. And so we are without a mod, but it's only temporary. No one was, you only felt the void because Locke was the dopest mod. And so she did acknowledge everyone on the way in. It certainly was not charge it to our hearts and not our head and not our heart. Shoo Shoo, what up, Shoo Shoo? Shoo Shoo said, hey, Natanya and the nerd herd just tuning in. Wagwan, midlove, how you doing? We here just trying to make it done. And then listen, I've been hacked. My computer is hacked. I was on live with y'all last night, just as good as ever. And then my computer was hacked when I got up this morning to try to report, like I said I was going to. Up early, I was up there 10 something. They hacked me. My computer lost access to my mic and my camera. And so I had to dig out an old computer I had and try to get on that. And trust me, it was just child. I'm a Mac girl. That was a Windows computer. And it was just, oh Lord. I hadn't even gotten on that laptop in ages. It just felt like I was out there swatting gnats at a cookout. It was just too much. I got on live. It was echoing. Then nobody could hear anything I was saying. You could see me, but you couldn't hear me. Then when you could hear me, it was all an echo. Then when you couldn't, and it stopped echoing, you couldn't see me. It was too much. It was too much. Child, I had to sign out. But yeah, so she's taking, time to get back to her life. She's taking time to regain her peace and regain homeostasis in her life. And we are pushing forward. We're moving on. Don't worry, we got some irons in the fire. We got mods up on the chat doing their thing right now, auditioning for their role. I won't even say auditioning, doing what they do naturally. And God is aligning, attracting them to their role. So the announcement will be made shortly. But nobody's ignoring you, my love. Nobody. Hey, Kelvina Moore. Yep. She said, wow, what? People do too much. Shaking my head. They do. They do. They done bullied the girl and then hacked me. I said, my God. But listen, I always tell y'all, nobody robs an empty store. The only reason that they pressed and they on our backs like this is because they know we doing something and we growing and we making inroads. We are making up. Our presence is being felt. And so trust and believe. Trust and believe. We're going to keep pushing forward. See, Ghetto Heat, everybody's giving you love. Oh, yeah, baby. Shout out to the max, honey. Honey, everything else feels like you are writing, you are doing math on an abacus and carving into a stone plate. Anything outside of that. Oh, always. The hackation, baby. We call that the hackation. They've been hacking me, Royal. Been hacking me since 2015. I've been telling people like 2015, 2016, and people didn't want to listen to me because it sounded far fetched. And now, when you listen to the trial, all the stuff they say in the trial is all the stuff I've been saying, all the craziness behind the scenes. I've been vindicated. And all the people I said it to is just like, Oh my God, you said that. You used to say that. You used to, they did that to you. You hear what Kid Cudi said? They broke in his house, went in there, touched things, moved them, opened took every Christmas gift, unwrapped it and opened it and left them there. Didn't take anything. A few months before that trial started, they broke in my house. I came up here and told you they broke in my house. They took a heavy chair in my garage and moved it to the center of my garage where I park every day. And the chair was not. I had just left that morning and the chair was not there. So help me God. They did the same thing. I said it. The trial had not even progressed yet. It hadn't even started yet. Kid Cudi comes in, said, broke inside my house, opened things, touched things in my house, moved them, unwrapped all my gifts, frightened my dog, and unwrapped all my gifts. Then everybody's like, "Oh my God, they did that to you." Hello, I've been telling y'all. I've been telling you. I don't know what else to say. Like, people only believe your stuff when someone else confirms it, and that's not how life is meant to be. That's not what God intended for life to be. I shouldn't be vindicated by virtue of the fact that Kid Cudi said it. Because what if Kid Cudi's story didn't come out? What if it happened, but it never was spoken of publicly? So then mine is not true. But that's what people think. Now, you hear what's crazy? I told y'all about the Deborah Cox thing. Do y'all hear that in the backyard? If I go to a window, you are going to hear a frog in my backyard. T. Beasy said, I hope he doesn't get pardoned or hung jury. I think he has enough footage to take the industry down. People moving out of the country. It's getting weird. And he also has enough dastardly deeds to get convicted. Trust me. Let me tell you something. I told y'all the prophecy God told me years ago. It's been a little over 3 years ago. I told y'all the prophecy God told me. He said, Puffy's world is going to crumble. He is going to attempt to unalive himself, and Babylon will fall. God told me that 3 years ago. I promise you. I said it to my girlfriends. I said it to other people. I was on a business trip with my girlfriends. I said it to them. I promise you. Some of the people I said it to was like, okay. Look, obsessed. You need to get over it. And no, come on. Why you wishing bad on that man? I said, I'm not wishing bad. I'm telling you what God said. But see, whenever I tell people something that God said and they don't believe it, it ain't about them not believing me. They don't believe in God enough. Miss Lady T said she's not lying about this. People need to do their own research. I'm not lying. I don't waste my time lying. I always used to say I'm too fly to lie. Because who gonna beat my behind? What am I? Usually when people lie, you're lying because you're trying to avoid, some type of punishment or some penalty or some kind of punitive thing. Child, ain't nobody gonna beat my behind. I wish they would try. I ain't even gonna wish it. If somebody tried, like I say, I'm a spiritual woman of God. But baby, run up and get done up. I ain't playing with nobody. I ain't playing with nobody. Honeybee said 3 times booted in the last hour. That's the hackation. Oh yes, I know they hacking you. They hacking you. They try to subdue my channel numbers to stop my channel from growing. Baby, this channel should have been way more followers than it has. But people keep telling me they're getting subscribed and all kind of stuff. Listen, what God bless, no man curse. Who God bless, no man curse. They could try the devices of the ungodly, but the God I serve said, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." Thus saith the Lord. And trust me, anybody who thinks they're going to prosper against me, he's going to give recompense. Why you think they blocking me? Why you think they hacking me? Why you think they hacking my account and taking off my mic and my camera? I was on live with y'all last night on that same MacBook. This morning it is totally. I took a picture of the thing. Matter of fact, oh, I think I'm on the phone. I took the picture. Crap. No, no, no. Maybe I took it on another phone. Let me see. I took a picture of the message. Let me tell you what the message said. Where is it? Uh, where is it? Was it this phone? Oh, yep. It was this phone. It said, let me turn it sideways. Let's set up your studio. Can't seem to access your camera mic. It's possible they are being used by another program, Skype, Zoom. There was not another thing running. Close to refresh the page. If not, they have been permanently locked by another program. Restarting your computer should fix this. When I tell you, say, there was not another thing. Lock me out. What's that thing y'all used to show me? There you go. Lock me out. Okay? And I was on that. That is my phone. I use that phone to take a picture of my computer screen. The same computer I was on last night and have been on ever since I started my YouTube channel. And all of a sudden, I'm locked out of my camera and my mic. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself who has the wherewithal and who is so pressed. Who neck is my foot on that they so pressed? That thing said permanently locked out. Tried everything to get back in. Couldn't get back in. Could not get back in. T Breezy said, I believe you, sweetie. I love how you conduct yourself, even with all you've been through. I tap in from time to time. Asheo, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That means the world to me. Here's the thing, I serve an on time God. More than any, first of all, I'm not a grudge holder. And I never have this like, oh, I'm going to plot on somebody. They do something to me. I'm going to plot on them and get them back. Listen, I will get my lick back. If it's a natural lick back and I can get it back, then I don't even have to get my lick back. I will collect and gather you right then and there. You're gonna know how you fouled me and what you did. We're gonna deal with it right there. And I'm not keeping no secrets. I don't believe in fostering, family curses and things like that. If you step out of line, you do me foul, I'm calling attention to it. If it bothers you, if it displeases you, you gotta take that up with the most high God. That ain't my cross to bear. But, you know, I tell people take it to the altar. It's above me now. But I'm definitely gonna address things. I'm not one of those people that just let things linger or slide. I'm not gonna let things fester. Like some people complain and be like, oh, I don't know why I stayed with this guy. He just be getting on my nerve. I'm not gonna be in no relationship 10 years and be like, you've been treating me foul for 10 years, baby. If the writing is on the wall in year one, grand opening and grand closing, because guess who I love? Me. You're not going to treat me foul. You're not going to treat me foul. I'm not going to stand here for it. I believe in working through things that have the potential for growth. But if I see somebody is ignorant, just negative, and okay, you getting ready to go live for show? Okay, we're gonna hop over there, guys. I'm gonna get off of here in a few minutes because I just came up here to chit chat for a few minutes, and here we are 3 hours later. Ooh, child. Michelle said, "Wowza, who do they think they are? Our God is bigger than their hackations." Yes, indeed, it's bigger than them. But they trying hard though. And let me tell you something. All the time, it's not just them. It's your friendly neighborhood YouTube content creators. Because I've heard tale of a couple that is on YouTube, and the husband is Hackmeister Flex. That's what I'll call him, and be up in people YouTube channel because they're jealous and evil and covetous, and they cannot stand anybody getting more attention than them. They are insufferable. And listen, when I tell you, say. When I tell you, say, but God, all I do is pray to God, Father God, reveal anybody causing harm, speaking word curses against me. I cancel the authority of every spell, bind, hold, witchcraft, iniquity, evil, sorcery, this, that, knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog more, anything negative that is not of God, spoken against me now in every timeline, in every single incarnation of existence. I curse the authority of that. I break it. I cancel the assignment of any curse. I break it. I rebuke it back to the depths of hell from whence it came, never to return again. I ask God to not only expose it, but reveal all of the people and everything they did publicly for the world to see. Expose them publicly for the world to see. Because if you are so inclined to bother a woman that God saw fit to bring through all of that, you deserve whatever you get. May you get the life you deserve. May you get the life you deserve. May you get it. And people be mad. Oh, why you gonna say that? I'm like, what's the problem? You mad at me saying, may you get the life that you deserve? You mad at me sending any any negative energy you sent to me? You're mad that I sent it back to you? What's wrong with the energy you sent to me? Because if you sent me good, it's going back to you. If you sent me bad, it's going back to you. Why are you sending me bad? You have no reason to be concerned about whatever you sent to me that I send back to you if it's good. You only have a reason to be concerned if it is bad. And the reason they're concerned is because they know I'm a child of God and He got me in His hand and I got the whole world in my hand. And He knows my name and He walks with me and He hears my cry. He said, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. Why would you mess with that lady? Didn't God already admonish y'all, do my prophets no harm? But what can I say? Some people don't want to listen. So who am I? Who am I? Anyway, guys, it's 3 hours and 22 minutes of a video that I said I was just coming on briefly. So we going to end this. Let's go over to For Show TV, hear what our brother got to say. Our good brother, and interact and show him some love. FASHO TV, guys. You see him in the chat? Hit that link. Let's jump over there. Tomorrow, listen, tomorrow, please God, I'll be back. I'll try to work on this computer and see what's going on. I'll call my son, who is a tech guru, and see if he can navigate it. He wasn't available to help me earlier, but I'll take care of this and get it done. In the meanwhile, let's go over to For Show TV and show him some love. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Tomorrow, please God. Well, I'll see y'all over there For Show TV. But until we see each other again, love, peace, and hair grease.